Chapter 279. Wang Xiao wore a silver robe, had white hair, and wielded a silver hammer made of violet lightning. Without a word, a pair of enormous silver wings sprouted from his back. He took a step forward, and his body grew taller and taller. After a few steps, he grew to a height of 1,500 meters. In front of this giant, Ning Fan was like an insignificant ant. However, he was not afraid at all. Gigantification of the physical body. Ning Fan remained silent. This was the combat technique of the ancient fiend gods. Unfortunately, Ning Fan's body refinement was already different from the ancient deities. The silver-feathered giant let out a shrill cry. After this cry, a strange night descended on the purple platform that was clearly daytime. It was pitch black, and one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. Standing in the darkness, Ning Fan's eyes turned serious. How could he not know that this was the innate ability of the Ice Owl clan, Burning Night technique? Night owls were creatures that lived in the dark. Bing Xiao had fused his bloodline with demonic energy and used his demonic energy to create the Dark Night. He had also used the Dark Night to block the enemy's vision and senses. Ning Fan tried to extend his spirit sense out. To his surprise, he could only see 100 zhang in the darkness. As for the demon cultivators outside, they had absolutely no idea what was happening on the purple platform. Although he couldn't see it clearly, he could feel a soul-stirring aura coming from the top of his head. The purple star in his left eye flashed. His vision pierced through the darkness and saw everything clearly. The moment the darkness descended, the silver feather giant's purple lightning hammer smashed down. The power of this smash caused 9 layers of thunderclouds to appear in the sky. Each thundercloud was formed by the power of thunder that had reached the pinnacle. Ripples spread out layer by layer, shattering the void. 9 thunderclouds, 9 layers of enormous strength. This was the extreme use of strength after the physical body was enlarged. Fast, too fast. The speed of this hammer strike was comparable to the speed of a soul formation final stage cultivator. Furthermore, it was a sneak attack in the dark. If one couldn't see the giant hammer strike, even a soul formation peak stage cultivator would be severely injured by this hammer strike. Looking at the purple golden giant hammer that was even larger than a mountain and the collapsing thunder clouds that resembled 9 layers of purple waves, Ning Fan's divine, demon and devil star points revolved at the same time. At this moment, his physical body did not grow larger but the devil marks on his back were scorching hot. The demon blood in his body was boiling and the blood lightning around him was sizzling. His black hair fluttered in the strong wind. The large purplish-black crystal wings on his back flapped. At this moment, Ning Fan's speed reached its maximum. Like purple lightning, he soared to the sky and faced the 9 layers of thunderclouds head-on. Each thundercloud was powerful enough to kill an early-stage soul formation cultivator, and when all 9 of them combined, the power was enough to severely injure a mid-stage soul formation cultivator. However, as soon as the lightning star flashed and Ning Fan swept his gaze across it, the mere lightning clouds formed by the magic technique began to shatter, crumble and vanish. After piercing through the 9 layers of lightning clouds, Ning Fan wielded his separation slayer sword and slashed at the mountainous hammer. Xiao Qin gathered all his vital qi on his sword. That scene was like a mosquito crashing into an ordinary person's palm, looking overestimating itself. However, the power of this sword was truly extraordinary. When the sword and the hammer collided, an extremely small collided. A loud dong sound was heard. The falling momentum of the hammer was blocked by Ning Fan's sword. However, the force of this hammer went through the separation slayer to his chest, causing his blood and qi to churn. My strength is much weaker than his. After Ning Fan deflected the first hammer, the second hammer fell. He touched his glabella and took out the spirit-shattering whip. As he whipped the hammer, the sky within 10,000 li was filled with blood-red thunderclouds. The lightning force landed on the purple lightning hammer. However, half of it was absorbed by the hammer. Only a small portion of it went towards Wang Zhao's dantian. Knowing that he could not hurt Wang Zhao, Ning Fan kept the spirit-shattering whip. With a flap of his wings, he retreated a few hundred li at a speed that was comparable to a peak divine transformation realm expert. Then, he swung his separation slayer sword. The darkness in the sky was cut into half and dispersed. Ning Fan now had a clear understanding of Wang Zhao's strength. At least, it was impossible for him to defeat him with just the separation slayer sword and the spirit-shattering whip. This person was arrogant and impetuous. However, his strength was not weak at all. In the darkness, outsiders could not see the battle between the two of them clearly. However, the blood-red lightning that covered 10,000 li, the loud sound of the 9 layers of thunderclouds collapsing and the ruthless cries of the ice owls all affected the nerves of the onlookers. It was not difficult to imagine how fierce the attacks of the two of them were and how many techniques they had used in the first exchange of blows. However, Ning Fan was still unscathed under such a degree of collision. On the other hand, Wang Zhao, who had transformed into a 1,500 zhang giant, had a trace of silver blood in his mouth. Wang Zhao was injured. The silver-feathered Wang Zhao's eyes were filled with anger and confusion. He had used the Ice Owl clan's Sundered Night divine ability to conceal his opponent's senses and sneak attacks with the purple lightning hammers. Even a late soul formation cultivator wouldn't be able to pierce through the darkness. However, Ning Fan had penetrated the darkness in his body. If that was not the case, it was impossible for Ning Fan to aim his attacks and destroy them one by one. Wang Zhao could not understand why Ning Fan could penetrate the darkness. Now, he could break the 9 layers of thunderclouds with his body. If there was still an explanation for all of these, then what happened next made him dumbfounded. Ning Fan did not evade the first strike of the twin hammers. Instead, he used his sword to block the first strike. The 3 chi long green sword resisted the purple lightning hammer, which was as large as a mountain. However, the result of the collision between the two weapons was that Wang Zhao's strength only had a slight advantage. Wang Zhao thought to himself. His body refinement realm was undoubtedly higher than Ning Fan's, and he had even formed his Dharma image. However, Ning Fan, whose body refinement realm was lower than him, had almost completely withstood his attack without using his Dharma image. If Wang Zhao transformed his physical body into a gigantic one, Ning Fan condensed his strength. Two completely opposite body refinement daos, but the outcome was practically equal. What injured Wang Zhao was the second hammer strike. He had heard about Ning Fan's true identity from the fire general Lu Jifen. He was familiar with Ning Fan's ability to draw treasures and kill his nascent soul. That was why he purposely used his lightning treasure, the purple lightning hammer, to resist his opponent's lightning and avoid the danger of his demon soul getting injured. His purple lightning hammer was a high-grade spiritual treasure, while Ning Fan's spirit-shattering whip was a mid-grade spiritual treasure. However, Ning Fan's whip was superior in terms of lightning power. Under the counterattack of the lightning power, Ning Fan managed to draw treasures and kill his soul, injuring Wang Zhao's demon soul. Even the earth-profound upper-grade spirit armor that his demon soul was wearing was shattered by the thunderbolt. If it wasn't for the ice seal on his demon soul, he was afraid that he wouldn't just be lightly injured, but seriously injured. Even though the injury was light, it made Wang Zhao's expression turn extremely ugly. He was certainly not careless or merciful. However, he was injured by an ant in the first exchange of blows. It was a great humiliation. No wonder this young man could kill Zhou Teng and the others. He is indeed quite strong. Besides, when the second hammer strike landed, he managed to avoid it with his incredible speed. His speed doesn't seem to be any slower than mine. However, it's still not enough to fight me. Wang Zhao's expression darkened. He raised both of his hammers and changed his hand seals. The shape of his lightning hammers changed. One of them turned into a purple mountain of lightning court and pressed down on Ning Fan's head. If he wanted to defeat Ning Fan, he couldn't just use brute force. He needed to use some tricks. As Wang Xiao changed his hand seal, the heavenly spiritual force was guided by Lei Shan and seeped into his body. At first, Lei Shan was still 10,000 zhang above the ground. However, in the blink of an eye, he had already teleported 10,000 zhang above Ning Fan's head. As for the other hammer, it turned into a purplish lightning prison that sealed Ning Fan's surroundings. Once he is suppressed by the lightning mountain, the lightning prison would further seal him an immemorial divine weapon to imprison him within, making him unable to escape. This was the transformation ability of the purple lightning hammer. It could turn into a mountain and a lightning prison, which was specially used to suppress and trap enemies. Purple Mountain Lightning Prison. The suppressive force made the air turn heavy, making it hard for people to breathe. The air waves that blew against Ning Fan's face felt like needles pricking his face. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. His surroundings were sealed and the top of his head was suppressed. There was nowhere for him to escape. If it was in the past, he could still use the spirit-severing technique to turn himself into a black shadow and recondense it to avoid the attack. However, at this moment, he felt that the immemorial divine weapon had the ability to attack an illusory body. Even if he turns into a black shadow, he would still be killed by the mountain. I can't escape. I must break this purple lightning hammer head-on before I get suppressed. This Wang Xiao has the attitude of being able to defeat me with his powerful magic treasures. However, other than the Separation Slayer sword and the spirit-shattering whip, Ning Fan still has another powerful magic treasure. The Blood Sword. He patted his storage pouch and the dragon soul of the blood dragon flashed. Then, a broken and ancient blood sword appeared in his hand. As soon as the sword appeared, Wang Zhao's expression changed to one of disdain. The Blood Dragon Demon Sword. This sword is the treasure of the Blood Dragon clan. However, its sword power has been sealed. With the grade of this sword, it is not a match for the purple lightning hammer. Moreover, you won't be able to break the seal on this sword. Before Wang Xiao could finish his words, his eyes shrunk. Without saying a word, Ning Fan directly pressed two of his fingers on the body of the sword and swiped it. With this swipe, the golden-purple wind and sand flowed. The body of the blood sword trembled as if its soul was trembling. The first seal on the sword quickly melted under the wind and sand. At the moment when the seal on the blood sword was broken, a dragon roar that had been suppressed for a long time came from the purple platform and turned into a terrifying blood-red baleful chi. Ning Fan kept the Separation Slayer sword and held the blood sword in his hand. He could feel his mind being shaken by the baleful chi of the sword. However, he gritted his teeth and released a blood-red aura force that was not weaker than a half-step void refinement realm cultivator to forcefully suppress the baleful chi of the sword. The blood sword was resisting. The sword was a dead object. However, this dead object was forged from the bone of a heavenly demon realm blood dragon. It possessed a sharp and unyielding pride. Unwillingness. Unwillingness. Unwillingness to die. Unwillingness to be controlled by anyone. Unwillingness to be a mere dragon bone sword. Roar! Strangely, the anger of an evil dragon was heard from the blood sword. It was resisting. It was trying to break free from Ning Fan's grasp and break free from his control. However, when Ning Fan's cold voice resounded and the golden-purple wind and sand flowed on his fingertips, the blood sword that was a dead object felt tiny, insignificant and fearful for the first time. It's this move again. What kind of demonic technique is this golden-purple wind and sand? Chu Shun's expression changed and he suddenly stood up. As for Wang Xiao, he swallowed his saliva. His forehead could not help but break out in sweat. It was because he clearly saw Ning Fan tear the first seal on the blood dragon demon sword. The aura force of a half-step void treasure spread out from the blood sword. He actually broke the seal on this sword. Not good. At this moment, Ning Fan moved the sword. His eyes swept across Lei Yu and Jian Shan. His words were threatening as if he was giving an order to the blood sword. No matter what identity you had in the Blood Dragon clan when you were alive or what glory you have to submit to me after becoming a sword after your death. If you don't submit and dare to rebel, I will use my wind mist finger to erase your sword body for eternity. Following Ning Fan's threat, the blood sword calmed down. Tearing the first seal was a trick of the wind mist finger. It did not completely subdue the blood sword. Originally, it could display the might of a void treasure, but now, it was barely equivalent to a half-step void treasure. That alone was enough. If it was a real void treasure, Ning Fan would not be able to control it with his current cultivation base. Even if it was a half-step void treasure, he could only barely subdue it by relying on the aura force of a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. It was as if his blood chi was being rapidly devoured by the blood sword. Ning Fan's complexion was slightly pale. His body was surrounded by a sword intent that could not be looked at directly. When the sword intent reached its peak, the blood sword suddenly pointed at Lei Shan above his head. All of the sword chi exploded at this moment. Along with the blood sword, a dragon roar that was filled with unwillingness resounded. Roar. 10, 100, 1,000. Under this stab, nearly 1,000,000 blood sword shadows were produced, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was a breathtaking sight. An ear-piercing sword chime resounded through the clouds. The sword might of a ferocious beast reverberated across the Luo Yun continent. Under this sword might, be it Lei Yu or Lei Shan, none of them could approach or suppress it. Both of them were forcefully held in midair by the might of the sword. When the blood sword slashed down, the millions of sword chi merged into one sword and slashed across the sky. Under this slash, the Lei Shan was crushed and the Lei Yu was destroyed. Both of them turned into two purple lightning hammers that had lost a lot of their spirituality. They fell heavily beside Ning Fan's feet, creating a pit that was 100 zhang deep on the purple platform. As expected of an immemorial divine weapon. Even though it was destroyed by the blood sword, it was still strong and indestructible. If it was an ordinary high-grade divine weapon, it would probably have been destroyed by the might of the sword. Puff. When the immemorial divine weapon was destroyed, Wang Xiao felt a sharp pain in his chest. He retreated from his avatar and half-knelt on the ground. He coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood and his face was filled with shock. The blood sword that was accompanied by a carp was actually so powerful after breaking the seal. The most unbelievable thing was how Ning Fan, who was just an early divine transformation realm ant, could break the seal. Ning Fan did not feel any better either. That sword had almost absorbed half of his blood essence. If he wields it again, he would probably be sucked dry by the blood sword and die. It's a good sword. However, with my current cultivation realm, I can't wield it as I wish. Otherwise, the destructive power of that sword wouldn't just destroy the lightning hammer. Instead, it would annihilate all living beings within a radius of 100,000 li. Killing Wang Xiao would be a piece of cake. If I break the second seal, I'm afraid I can summon a power that can injure a void fragmentation realm expert. Chu Shun and Lu Daochun's expressions were filled with solemnity and shock when they saw that Wang Xiao was injured and Ning Fan had a large amount of blood essence extracted. They were shocked because Ning Fan had just broken through to the divine transformation realm. However, he was not at a disadvantage in the battle against Wang Xiao. They were worried because if both Wang Xiao and Ning Fan were injured, the 9 world maps would probably fall into the hands of Imperial Concubine Z and the others. By then, no one would be able to resist the Spirit King Palace. This was the reason why Imperial Concubine Z had been keeping quiet about the battle between the two of them. Why would she need to stop them? The more both of them were injured, the greater the chance of the Spirit King Palace to clinch the first place in the battle. This Liu Bei indeed has the strength to fight for the first place. If I'm not wrong, he just needs to forcefully activate the blood sword and take advantage of the situation to kill Wang Xiao. However, if he does that, he will certainly suffer severe injuries from the backlash. Heh. I didn't expect that this Liu Bei is actually not an ant and this Wang Xiao is actually so weak. It's not that Wang Xiao is too weak. It's Liu Bei, who is too strong. Imperial concubine Wu Yan corrected her with a soft voice. Two figures leaped onto the purple platform and stood between Ning Fan and Wang Xiao. Their purpose was to prevent the situation where both of them were injured. Enough. General Wang, retreat for the time being. This battle will be settled as a draw. Chu Shun said sternly. Liu Bei, that's enough. This battle ends here. It's useless to continue fighting. Lu Daochen advised. Ning Fan remained silent. He also knew that he should prioritize the important matters at this moment. However, he was unwilling to let go of the opportunity to kill Wang Xiao. As for Wang Xiao, he was even more unwilling to suffer a loss in Ning Fan's hands. He did not want to admit it, but he had no choice but to admit that Ning Fan's cultivation base was weaker than his. However, his combat power was slightly stronger than his. If this battle continues, Ning Fan would injure himself and use his blood-red sword to kill him. Then, he would certainly die. However, he was unwilling to lose to Ning Fan. I'm not convinced. If you don't use your blood-red sword, you definitely won't be able to withstand a single move from me. Liu Bei, today's battle will be decided by the last move. Do you dare to take it? One move. Chu Shun's eyes darkened. Lu Daochen frowned while Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. One move. Are you sure? That's right. All of us have suffered quite serious injuries. If we continue to fight, it will be difficult to determine the victor. Wang Xiao gritted his teeth. He was unwilling to say such words, but it was the truth. One move. If you win, your crime of killing Li Ban and the others will be forgiven. If you lose, you will die and the map will belong to me. One move. I won't use magic treasures but demonic techniques. Do you dare to take this battle? Demonic technique. Why wouldn't I dare? A wave of purple chi rose around Ning Fan's body. All of a sudden, half of the sky was dyed purple. It seems impossible to kill Wang Xiao today. However, this move, I must severely injure this person. Wang Xiao might be strong but he won't be able to withstand my finger. Ning Fan clasped his hands behind his back and stomped on the ground. Then, he kept the two purple lightning hammers in front of him into his pouch. Seeing this, Wang Xiao's eyes darkened but he did not say anything. If I kill you with this move, I can take back my purple lightning hammers. One move. I only have the power for one move. There was an ice seal on his demon soul. At this moment, Wang Xiao tore a hole in the seal. A wave of vicissitudes aura was added to Wang Xiao's body. In an instant, his demonic power and aura force increased crazily. It was comparable to the peak spirit severing realm. Chu Shun's expression changed. This is the second innate ability of my Ice Owl clan, Ice Seal. This seal was given to me by a heavenly demon senior. At the moment when I tear the seal, my demonic power will increase by one small realm. Liu Bei, I will give you one last chance. Hand over the map, cut off one of your arms and kowtow to me as an apology. Then, I will spare your life. Noisy. Ning Fan raised his finger. Golden purple sand flowed on the tip of his finger. The wind blew and the purple mist appeared. It's this technique again. Chu Shun's eyes turned solemn. At such a close distance, he actually felt a hint of danger from this technique. If he could sense the danger, it was needless to say that Wang Xiao was a peak spirit severing realm cultivator who was severely injured and coughing blood. Wang Xiao, I advise you to back off. You are not a match for Liu Bei. Get lost. You are just a prince of the lower world. What right do you have to call my name? Wang Xiao had already fallen into madness. In the blink of an eye, his eyes gradually turned cold and calm. It was as if all of his emotions had been frozen. On his left palm, a ball of cold chi with purple snow fluttering in the air appeared. On his right palm, a ball of black icy wind with ice particles appeared. As soon as these two items appeared, Lu Daochun's expression changed greatly. He immediately sent a telepathic message to Ning Fan. Be careful. Wang Xiao used two types of heavenly cold chi in this move. It's the East Pole Wind that is ranked 6th and the Di Ming Shui that is ranked 4th. Chapter 280. Lu Daochun and Chu Shun retreated from the purple platform respectively. They had decided to stop the second round of the battle here and wait for Wang Xiao and Ning Fan to recover from their injuries before starting again. The two of them left the purple platform, leaving only Ning Fan and Wang Xiao in the arena. A battle of one move. However, this move must be his strongest attack. The golden-purple mist on his fingertips slowly dissipated. He stared at Wang Xiao and the two types of cold chi with a calm expression. Liu Bei, a battle of one move. Firstly, I will attack and you will defend. Secondly, you will attack and I will defend. Sure. Wang Xiao was thinking about taking the initiative while Ning Fan was thinking about how to deal a fatal blow to Wang Xiao. It might seem like he would be at a disadvantage if he attacked later, but there was an advantage in doing so. When Wang Xiao is exhausted, he could activate his wind mist finger without hesitation. After consuming a pill and regulating his breathing, Ning Fan formed his 5 fingers into a claw and clawed at the ground, displaying the soul extraction technique. His aura force rose steadily. Even though it was the second time he used this technique in front of everyone, the profoundness of it still made everyone gasp in admiration. Wang Xiao's eyes darkened. You're just trying to impress the crowd. I admit that you're an expert. However, you still don't understand the difference between an ant in the mortal world and a member of the true spirit clan in the upper world. Just like Zhou Teng, he was bestowed with the celestial orchid ice. As for me, I was bestowed with 2 types of 5th grade cold chi and the cold ice mark. You will die for sure with this move. Wang Xiao did not say anything else. He suddenly pressed both of his palms together. The intense coldness turned into the sound of ice freezing and spread in all directions. At this moment, the shadow of an icy moon was reflected from his body. The surroundings fell into darkness once again. The dark night divine ability was the preparation. The preparation was the moon of ice. Ice will technique. Wang Xiao's emotionless voice came from his mouth. It was as if he had turned into a different person. His tone was unusually steady. The 2 types of cold chi were fused with a strange technique, turning into a blizzard filled with purple ice particles. In an instant, the sky and the earth were enveloped by the blizzard. An icy moon slowly emerged above the broken night sky. That crescent moon was gradually filled with the cold chi and became a full moon. Within the full moon, there seemed to be an eyeball that was sharp and proud. As soon as the eye of ice moon appeared, the sky froze, and the wind and clouds froze. Wang Xiao's incantation changed, and numerous rings of violet ice appeared, swirling around the full moon. Ice wheel, first turn. Second revolution. Third revolution. After just 3 revolutions, the original ice moon eye shot out a sharp frosty gaze. It was like an ice fishing net that was spread out. Everything that was covered by the net was frozen, and all living things were frozen. This ice fishing net emitted a cold intent, and it had the aura of a high-grade transcendent realm demonic art. After the 3rd transformation, it would be a high-grade transcendent level. With the help of 2 kinds of heavenly frost chi, the power of this attack was close to the peak transcendent level. With the moon as the frost, with the night as the coolness, we, the Owl clan, will guard the burial in the sky. Owl Defiant, the soul of the Zong Air clan. Cold light flashed in Wang Zhao's eyes. He let out a long roar and pointed a finger at Ning Fan. The huge ice net immediately spread towards Ning Fan, vowing to capture this little fish in the net. Under the effect of this technique, Ning Fan felt a great sense of danger, but his right hand was still gathering the golden-purple wind sand. With a point of his left hand, the grey sea of fire that blotted out the sky soared at an unimaginable speed, and turned into 9 grey fire dragons. Incinerate. The 9 fire dragons rushed towards the ice net one after another. 8 of the grey fire dragons were frozen and extinguished, and only the last one fiercely hit the net, burning a hole in it. Then, he used the last of his firepower to burn a huge gap along the hole. Ning Fan flapped his purple wings and soared into the sky. He escaped from the range of the net through the gap, and was not frozen. The net was extremely fast, but Ning Fan's speed was even faster. Impossible. You are just an early spirit severing realm cultivator, how can your speed be so fast? However, if you think that you can escape from the ice net just like that, you are wrong. Under the moonlight, there is nothing but a fishing net. After dodging the attack, Ning Fan's expression changed. Under the cover of the moonlight, his body began to slowly freeze. The ice net was just a bait. The real attack was the moonlight of the ice moon. Break. Along with Wang Zhao's cold smile, the cold moon crumbled and turned into rays of moonlight, wrapping around Ning Fan like a cocoon. The ice cocoon became bigger and bigger. Every time it grew to 100 zhang, the cold power within the cocoon would double. When the ice cocoon reached 900 zhang, the cold power within it was enough to freeze an ordinary late spirit severing realm cultivator to death. Die. Wang Zhao's eyes turned cold. He changed his hand seal and the ice cocoon exploded. The power of ice spread in all directions, shattering the hollow space. In just a breath's time, the entire Luoyun province turned into an ice city under the influence of the ice power. At the center of the ice power explosion, clusters of black shadows were blown up and disappeared. Liu Bei is dead. Wang Zhao laughed happily. However, he felt a little strange that he did not see Ning Fan's storage pouch. Since he had controlled his strength well, his storage pouch should not have been damaged. Even if it was damaged, the world map was special. Other items would die under the demonic technique, but the world map would not. Of course, the purple lightning hammer that Ning Fan had taken away would not be damaged either. If it was not here, it was probably sucked into the hollow space by the storm when the hollow space was shattered. However, Wang Zhao did not have it easy. Forcefully activating the secret technique with his severely injured body had a huge side effect. Now that the secret technique had lost its effect, his limbs and bones were suffering from the backlash of the ice power. The surroundings were dead silent. Wang Zhao's magic technique was really terrifying. Ning Fan did not use any decent methods to resist it at all. It would not be strange if he died, especially the members of the Luoyun tribe. Each of them wore a dejected expression, thinking that Ning Fan had really died. Lu Wan was the only one who took a step forward. Her beautiful eyes stared at the purple clouds that had yet to disperse and said with determination. No. Liu Bei won't die. You're right. How can I die so easily when the enemy is still alive? An indifferent and cold voice resounded in the air. At this moment, the sky was filled with purple clouds, reflecting the most dazzling purple light. At this moment, the black shadows condensed and turned into a black-robed figure. His face was cold and his eyes were pure black. The left side of his face had a demonic pattern. The black-robed young man's face was pale. He coughed out blood which was mixed with ice shards. Even though he had used the Black Tempest soul-splitting technique, he was still heavily injured by Wang Zhao's magic technique. However, he would not die. The Sense Soul incarnation could be broken and dispersed at will. It was a great ability that allowed one to transform into the void. Only void fragmentation realm old monsters could comprehend the principle of illusion. Due to the difficulty of killing an incarnation, this technique was listed as one of the 3 void fragmentation realm techniques. Even void fragmentation realm old monsters were passionate about cultivating this technique. Being shrouded by the ice cocoon and torn apart by the ice power, Ning Fan's injuries were definitely not light. However, these injuries gave Ning Fan an unprecedented understanding of the sense soul incarnation. Sense soul incarnation. In the past, I understood the 2 words sense soul as spirit sense and soul. Now that I've used it again and again, I vaguely understood that the 2 words sense soul aren't as simple as they seem. Sense is obsession while soul is courage. If one doesn't have courage, they wouldn't dare to break their body to avoid being injured. If they don't have obsession, they wouldn't be able to reform their broken body. This is the true meaning of the sense soul incarnation. I don't know about courage, but I do have obsession. Breaking and condensing again. The black shadow that the black-robed young man had turned into broke again and again. However, every time he condensed, the injuries on his body would gradually recover. Incarnation self-healing. Imperial concubine Z's red lips were at a loss for the first time. Incarnation was an illusory physical body and a defensive ability. It was completely different from a clone. In order to condense an incarnation, one would need to be at least at the void fragmentation realm. However, ordinary void fragmentation realm experts would not be able to cultivate an incarnation to a level where it could self-heal. Imperial concubine Z did not know how an early divine transformation realm expert like Ning Fan could master such a secret technique. She also did not know what kind of heaven-defying perception this young man had to be able to comprehend the incarnation technique to a level where it could self-heal. Her beautiful eyes swept across Imperial concubine Wu Yan, recalling the warning that she had given to her. Don't provoke Liu Bei. This young man has comprehended 2 void fragmentation realm secret techniques. His aptitude is heaven-defying. Even I shouldn't offend him. However, this young man isn't a member of the demon race. This is an undeniable fact. The black shadow condensed again. Ning Fan raised his finger and pointed at Wang Xiao with a mist. Wang Xiao was stunned. He could not understand why Ning Fan was able to survive the attack of the ice power. He also could not understand why the golden-purple mist gave him such a strong sense of danger. He knew that he had to retreat. However, he was already exhausted after using that move. As for Ning Fan's aura, it was constantly rising as his body broke and condensed again. It was a spirit and an obsession that would never change even in death. I must protect my true love. Before that happens, I will not die. No matter how many times my body is crushed, I will not die. Elegance is a finger of quicksand. Age is a period of time. Purple technique, wind mist. Purple clouds scattered. The ice in the Luoyun province melted and was replaced by purple sand. The wind blew across the Luoyun province. The wind blew again. However, this time, it was Ning Fan who was using the mist wind. Wang Xiao wanted to escape but Ning Fan pointed at him with the back of his hand. Freeze! Dark red threads of pressure seeped into the demonic body and entwined around it. Wang Xiao felt terrified for the first time. He roared in disbelief. Impossible! How can you have so many heaven-defying techniques? You are just an ant in the mortal world. Impossible. I have done even crazier things. Do you know? Yes, the craziest thing that Ning Fan had done was not to fight against tens of thousands of mermaids and mermen alone. It was not to kill a nascent soul at the harmonious spirit realm. It was not to sweep across the demon sinister forest. It was to trample on the heaven court and injure an immortal emperor in his previous life as a mortal butterfly. Even though the body of a mortal butterfly was small, that obsession of his was certainly terrifying. Obsession. Die. As soon as he pointed his finger, the entire city was filled with smoke and sand. In just a short moment, Wang Xiao was engulfed by the purple wind mist. To his horror, he realized that he was aging rapidly. His general armor, robes and cultivation base were all disappearing without a trace. They disappeared. He had no idea where they went, only Ning Fan knew that the things that he had lost were devoured by samsara. Humans have samsara and immortals have samsara. No matter how long you live, you will never be able to escape samsara. Wang Zhao's mind was filled with the memories of his long life. His long and tedious thoughts gradually became blurry. His white hair began to fall off. His handsome face was filled with wrinkles. Eventually, one of his arms began to rot. His other hand wanted to grab the rotting ashes. However, as soon as he exerted force, his entire body turned into ashes. His demon soul melted and disappeared without a trace. This was the true annihilation of his body. He's dead. Wang Zhao was actually killed by this young man with a single move. What exactly is this wind? For the first time, Chu Shun felt a trace of fear. The Luoyun province was silent for a moment. At the next moment, a deafening cheer was heard. General Bei is mighty. An early spirit-severing realm expert killed a late spirit-severing realm expert. Chapter 281. Clamorous cheers resounded across Luoyun. As the 7th division of the 9 divisions, Luoyun had never experienced such glory before. General Liu Bei was an early spirit-severing realm expert who killed a late spirit-severing realm expert. The might of his fingers shocked the entire city. Especially at the last moment, his persistent aura of shattering and reforming his incarnation made the hearts of the demons who were in slumber tremble. The demons of Luoyun could feel an aura from Ning Fan's body. He appeared out of nowhere and killed 6 of his generals. Once he attacks, he would not show any mercy and his sword would be stained with blood. There were no schemes, no deceit and no scheming. There was only the determination to crush his enemies with his overwhelming strength. That aura was like a sword. Before it was unsheathed, no one would know its sharpness. When Zhu Qin wanted to hurt Wan Er, the sword was unsheathed and aimed at them. Its sharpness was shocking. Fu Lang, Yu Du and Gujia wanted to kill Ning Fan to gain merit. Thus, the sword killed 3 of them without any mercy. When Zhou blocked its way, the sword aimed at him again. Wang Zhao was the culprit. Thus, the sword was aimed at Wang Zhao. During the clash with Zhou Teng and Wang Zhao, Ning Fan's injuries worsened and his aura was greatly weakened. It was as if the originally sharp and unparalleled sword aura had been broken by the enemy, becoming a broken sword. His aura was already weakened. Normally, he should have fought to a draw with Wang Zhao to protect himself. However, he did not. Instead, he endured Wang Zhao's terrifying demon technique which sealed his Luoyun in ice. When his opponent was exhausted, he killed him with a single finger. Even though his aura was weakened into a broken sword, he still wanted to kill. A broken sword. The sheath was broken and only the blade was left. He could not hold it tightly and kill his enemy. Even if the sword was broken and his palm was cut, he still had to hold the blade tightly and pierce it into his enemy's heart. At this moment, Ning Fan gave people the feeling that he was a broken sword stained with blood. He had lost a lot of his blood essence and was severely injured. However, his eyes were still fearless. He stood on the purple platform and swallowed the sweet blood in his throat. His fighting spirit was still burning. Wang Zhao is dead. Today, I will fight for the first place. Those who are not convinced can come up to the platform and fight me. His voice echoed for a long time in the Luoyun province. However, the demons on the cloud platform gradually quieted down. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Ning Fan was already exhausted. If he were to ascend the purple platform now, perhaps even a mid-divine transformation realm expert would have a good chance of winning. But even Lu Jiefan, a late soul formation demon sealer with the power of the bestowment star, didn't dare to rashly step onto the stage. Why? Who knew if Ning Fan would surprise him again and use some heaven-defying method to kill him? Fire General, are you willing to fight with me? When Ning Fan's gaze swept across the pure flame tribe and landed on Lu Jiefan frowned. His eyes were filled with fear. There was a late spirit severing realm wild beast refined corpse in his storage pouch. With this refined corpse, he would be able to fight Wang Xiao without losing. However, when Ning Fan's eyes swept across the corpse, he seemed to have intentionally released a trace of his qi. Once this aura was released, Lu Jiefan's expression immediately changed. He could feel the late-stage soul formation refined corpse in his bag of holding becoming afraid. This aura. It can't be wrong. Liu Bei had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse with him. A half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. I'm afraid that Liu Bei would be able to kill a peak divine transformation realm expert with just that refined corpse alone. When he thought of this possibility, Lu Jiefan gradually calmed down. He frowned and averted his gaze, not answering Ning Fan. His intention to avoid the battle was self-evident. If Ning Fan still had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse with him, even if Crown Prince Chu Shun and concubine Zi were exhausted, they might not be able to obtain any benefits from Ning Fan. Lu Jiefan wanted the star of the Heavenly Emperor and wanted to enter the Third World. However, he knew from the beginning that there would be many forces involved and it was impossible for him to monopolize the quota of the Third World. Since he could not monopolize it, there was no need for him to take the risk and risk his life against Ning Fan. It's unwise to risk my life for a mere world map. I will definitely get one of the 50 quotas. Why do I need to risk my life? Fire General Lu Jiefan actually doesn't dare to accept General Bei's challenge. When the members of the Luoyun demon clan saw this scene, their expressions became even more fervent. After the Fire General, Ning Fan's gaze swept across the other 7 divisions. However, since even the Fire General was avoiding the battle, who else would dare to accept the challenge? The Earth General Bai Wuzuan, in particular, felt restless when Ning Fan stared at him. His hair stood on end. Only when Ning Fan shifted his gaze away did he let out a sigh of relief. My goodness. This Liu Bei even killed Wang Xiao, who had broken through to the peak divine transformation realm in a short period of time using a secret technique. How can I be his opponent? Moreover, I have quite a lot of enmity with this Liu Bei. If I go up the stage now, I will certainly be turned into ashes by him without mercy. No one accepted the challenge. After exchanging glances with each other, the late divine transformation realm lightning general and the wind general sighed solemnly. When they were being stared at by Ning Fan, they also sensed a trace of half-step void refinement realm aura force from Ning Fan's body. This young man has a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse with him. If that's the case, who in the second world can compete with him? The two of them smiled bitterly and sighed. After pondering for a while, they took out the world map of their headquarters and sent it to the purple platform with a flick of their fingers. Then, they took a step forward and cupped their fists at Ning Fan from afar. That finger attack of yours is extremely powerful. We can't withstand it. We admit defeat. With your strength, you can be the first in the arena battle. With that hidden item of yours, you can be invincible in the land of slumber. Of course, I will hand over the world map to you for safekeeping. Ning Fan took a light breath and smiled faintly. Even though his inner qi was still in a mess, it had already calmed down. He bent his palm and pointed at it. 2 rays of light turned into 2 pieces of world map breaking map and fell on his palm. He kept them in his storage pouch and cupped his fists at the 2 generals. I admit it. Inside his storage pouch, there was still a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse that the Black Dragon refined. It was the reason why he dared to continue challenging the generals. He deliberately released the qi of the refined corpse to deter the generals. Not only did it frighten Lu Jiefan, who was eager to make a move, but he also obtained 2 pieces of the world map from the Lightning General and the Wind General. Now, he had 4 pieces of the world map with him. If one only knows how to pretend to be a pig to eat the tiger and keep hiding his trump cards, it would sometimes make the enemy look down on him too much. Then, he would have to face all the troubles that he could avoid. Showing his trump cards appropriately to deter the enemy was undoubtedly another brilliant way to use his trump cards. His gaze swept across the demon crown Prince Chu Shun and he suddenly grinned. He patted his storage pouch and made a shocking move. He flicked his finger and passed the 3 pieces of the world map to Ning Fan. His expression was calm and unruffled. Wang Shao has lost. No spirit-severing realm cultivators of the pure fire tribe can defeat you. Since you have this item, it will be difficult for me to defeat you. I will leave the world map with you for now. Ning Fan received the 3 pieces of the world map and his eyes turned solemn. He had only used the qi of the refined corpse to deter Lu Jiefan and the other 2 generals. He did not show it to Chu Shun, but the latter could see through him. This person's eyes were sharp and he seemed to know that he could not monopolize the 9 spots of the world map. That was why he immediately changed his mind and handed over the world map to Ning Fan. It seemed like he had given in and befriended Ning Fan. But in reality, he had pushed the conflict to the Spirit King Palace and killed him with a borrowed knife. Ning Fan already had 7 pieces of the world map. The remaining 2 pieces were in the hands of Imperial Concubine Z. Imperial Concubine Z had a domineering personality. She would never admit defeat. Thus, it was impossible for her to hand over the world map easily. Moreover, she might even risk everything to fight Ning Fan to snatch the 7 pieces of the world map from him. As expected, after Chu Shun handed over the world map, Imperial Concubine Z stood up. Her eyes were cold and arrogant. You don't deserve to have the world map. It's because you aren't a human. As soon as Imperial Concubine Z said those words, the Luo Yun sect fell into dead silence. Then, an uproar broke out. Imperial Concubine Z, watch your words. General Bei is the pillar of our Luo Yun sect. How can he not be a demon? That's right. General Bei has awakened his blood for the 2nd time. Moreover, he possesses the true spirit blood of the royal clan. Everyone in the world knows about this. Humph. So what if he's a demon from the upper world? If he wants General Bei's world map, he should challenge him on the purple platform. The winner will get the map. There's no need to slander him. Most of the commotion in the surroundings was to defend Ning Fan. He was not afraid of being exposed in front of everyone because his identity had already been awakened. Even if the people of the Pure Flame tribe were to spread the news of the Demon Sealing Palace to everyone, who would believe that Ning Fan was a human? Ning Fan's expression was calm. Moreover, many of them had already found out that Ning Fan was not Liu Bei. Even a few of Liu Bei's friends in the past could tell that Ning Fan was not Liu Bei. However, their strength was low. None of them dared to spread the news. It did not matter whether he was Liu Bei or not. If Lu Daochen said so, then the Luo Yun 7 generals said so. It was not difficult to determine whether he was a demon or not. If he was not a demon, could he still be a human? The human race did not understand the ancient demon worship, so how could they enter the 2nd realm of the land of slumber? Although humans had cultivated demonic power and activated their demonic blood, since ancient times until now, which human could awaken the royal blood of the demonic race? Concubine Z's words were the truth, but no one would believe it. Demon Concubine Wu Yan let out a faint sigh. She also knew that Ning Fan was not a true demon. However, there was no other way. Unless he admits it himself, no one would believe him at all. Therefore, Wu Yan had never told anyone about this. Lu Waner gently patted her chest and heaved a sigh of relief. She was afraid that Ning Fan's identity would be exposed. In this land of slumber, if people knew that he was from a foreign race, he would probably be hunted down by countless demon races. If Imperial Concubine Z is dissatisfied with me, please say it clearly. Such slander is really beneath your status. Seeing Ning Fan's smile, Imperial Concubine Zi's face turned even colder. Humph. Consider it my slip of the tongue. However, if you want the map of my Spirit King Palace, you have to follow the rules of the battle. There are still 2 late demon concubines in my Spirit King Palace who have yet to participate in the battle. Wu Yan, take this opportunity to kill him while he is severely injured. Me? Wu Yan's enchanting eyes were filled with hesitation and struggle at the moment. When she saw Lu Wanner's pleading eyes, she looked at the figure of the young man who was standing on the purple platform with his hands clasped behind his back. When she recalled the scenes in the scripture tower, her heart suddenly felt suffocated. Imperial Concubine Z, Wu Yan, is not a match for him. How dare you disobey my order? Concubine Z's phoenix eyes turned grim. She had exposed Ning Fan's identity but was denied by the 100,000 demons who thought that she was slandering Ning Fan. This matter had already greatly damaged her reputation. After she forcefully ordered Wu Yan to fight, Wu Yan actually avoided the battle. How could Concubine Z tolerate this? She slapped Wu Yan's pretty face. Wu Yan could dodge the slap but she did not dare to. She did not even dare to use her demon power to block the slap. The slap left a red palm print on Wu Yan's pretty face. Demon Concubine Wu Yan. If you disobey my order, you should understand the consequences. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Wu Yan's eyes darkened and she lowered her head. The arrogance she had when she first met Ning Fan was nowhere to be seen. In front of Concubine Z, she did not have the right to be arrogant, let alone disobey orders. When I return to the Spirit King Palace this time, Wu Yan is willing to be imprisoned in the cold palace for 100 years, using 100 years of imprisonment in exchange for Wanner's lover's life. That's good enough, Sister Wu Yan. Lu Wanner was angry that Wu Yan was slapped. She ignored her injuries and wanted to rush towards Concubine Z. However, her brother Lu Sheng took a step forward and blocked her way. She is the Spirit King's beloved concubine of the upper world. You must not act rashly. Beloved concubine. However, being able to meet the Spirit King and be favored by him was a supreme honor. With this honor, even the old ancestors of the true spirit race who were feared by the heavenly demons would not dare to touch Concubine Z easily. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Wu Yan was slapped because of him. Concubine Shi, you go. Concubine Z pointed at a little girl in yellow robes behind her. She had a petite figure and a tender appearance. However, her chi was at the late divine transformation realm. Unfortunately, this concubine Shi was good at everything except for her bewitching technique. She took a step forward and was about to obey the order to fight Ning Fan. However, when Ning Fan glanced at her from afar, her face immediately flushed and her delicate body heated up. Charm. Bewitching technique. This person's bewitching technique is terrifying. Shi Ran is not his match. You, Concubine Z's expression was filled with disappointment. She really wished that she could go up to the purple platform and teach Ning Fan a lesson. Unfortunately, she was the one who suggested that peak divine transformation realm cultivators were not allowed to participate in the battle. Moreover, she did not know that Ning Fan still had a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. Even without using the bewitching technique, if Concubine Z dares to go up the platform and bully the weak, Ning Fan would dare to summon the refined corpse on the spot and kidnap her. Concubine Z's eyes were filled with anger. However, there was nothing she could do. After a long while, she let out a soft snort and took out 2 world maps. With a flick of her finger, she gave them to Ning Fan. Liu Bei, just you wait for me. All right. Tonight, I will definitely take a bath and change my clothes. Then, I will wait for Concubine Z's arrival on my bed. You. Humph. Concubine Z's killing intent flashed. She turned around and left. This man is really bold. He actually interpreted my threat as a teasing remark. Forget it. After I enter the third world, I will have plenty of chances to kill this man. However, before she left, she gave Wu Yan a cold glance with a warning look. I will remember what you said. When I return to the Spirit King Palace, I will ask the Spirit King to grant you 10,000 years of house arrest. 10,000 years. Wu Yan smiled sadly but did not refute. Looking at the overbearing concubine Z, Ning Fan's eyes darkened. Including concubine Z, the 11 demon concubines would definitely become his cauldrons. In this way, he could also help concubine Wu Yan vent her anger. The place to capture the beauty was not suitable to be in the outside world. Why don't I do it in the Star Palace of the Third World? Now that he had obtained all 9 world maps, there was no need to discuss about the first place in the arena battle. Next, other than himself, the battles of the other 49 people were no longer under Ning Fan's concern. Moreover, he could not open the passage of the world with just the world map. The opening of the passage of the world would require a large-scale ancient demon sacrifice. Just the preparation of the formation and sacrificial offerings would require a lot of time. Number 1 in the Luoyun sect, Ning Fan kept the world map and closed his eyes. The cheers around him were like tidal waves. However, it was difficult for him to feel excited. So what if I'm the first place? The first place in the Luoyun sect is not enough. It won't be long before I become the strongest person in the Rain world. He crushed the purple platform with a single step. With a stretch of his palm, 56 traces of purple chi condensed into purple crystals and were kept into his storage pouch. Each of the purple crystals was comparable to a blood awakening pill. Amidst the cheers, Ning Fan descended from the cloud platform. Immediately, the demons on the platform split into 2 groups. None of them dared to block his way. Step by step, he approached Lu Wanner and gently touched her cheek. I've helped you vent your anger, but you're injured. Lu Wanner's eyes were filled with heartache. As if she had thought of something, she turned her head away and stared at the disappearing figures of Wu Yan and the other demon concubines. Suddenly, she stood on her tiptoes and whispered into Ning Fan's ear with her fragrant lips. Can I beg you for one thing? Do we still need to say the word, beg? Ning Fan felt that his ear was itchy and he could feel Lu Wanner's breath. I'm afraid that you'll be put in a difficult position. Can you think of a way to prevent Sister Wu Yan from being imprisoned by that detestable concubine Z for 10,000 years? I heard from my master that the imprisonment in the Spirit King Palace is very scary. Lu Wanner's face was filled with shame. She thought that the reason why Wu Yan disobeyed her order and did not kill Ning Fan was because of her previous pleading. I've already thought of a way. I'm afraid that concubine Z won't be able to return to the Spirit King Palace safely. Let alone complain to the Spirit King. What? Don't tell me you want to. Lu Wanner did not dare to say, you want to kill her. Killing a demon concubine who was the Spirit King's favorite concubine was just too audacious. No. It would be a waste to kill such a good human cauldron. I'm such a coward. I'm afraid of killing people the most. Ning Fan purposely made a harmless smile which made Lu Wanner chuckle. Her mood became slightly better. In Ning Fan's mind, a plan to capture the beauty of the Star Palace had already begun to form. As for that demon concubine Wu Yan, it seems like I should comfort her. I wonder if she feels very sad after being humiliated in public. What a pitiful woman. Chapter 282. Within a month, the remaining 49 spots were decided among the 100 soul formation cultivators. Demon concubine Wu Yan was second, Lu Jiefan was third, and the rest were unknown. In just 1 month, Luo Yunlu's terrifying battle record of stepping on the purple platform and killing 6 generals had spread across billions of miles of the second realm with the help of various secret communication techniques. No one blamed Ning Fan for the deaths of Wang Xiao and the others. After all, they had to follow the demon ancestors' instructions in the arena battles. From the moment they step onto the purple platform, their life and death were already determined by the heavens. Of course, the true spirit clan would not let Ning Fan go. However, that was something that would happen after Ning Fan ascends to the demon spirit land. It was not something that the demons of the second world would care about. The only thing they were concerned about was, the Luo Yun tribe had Liu Bei. From now on, they must not offend him. South of the Luo Yun tribe, at the border with the Feng Yun tribe, they started to search for demonic beasts and sacrificial offerings. For the opening of the world passage to the third realm this time, the 9 divisions had spared no effort in hunting down demonic beasts. At least 500,000 beasts above the Golden Core realm had to be sacrificed, and at least 1% of them had to be beast kings. Preparing for the ancient demon sacrificial ceremony this time was not as easy as opening the world passage to the second realm. The materials needed to carve the array consumed at least 1/5 of each tribe's financial resources. All of these were not things that Ning Fan needed to worry about. During this month, he stayed in his room, accompanying Lu Wan'er in healing her wounds. The northern general's residence was heavily guarded by countless experts. Ning Fan and Wan Er were sitting cross-legged on the soft couch in the room of the gazing river tower with their eyes closed. Their palms were touching each other. Under the situation where Ning Fan was the master, they were circulating their magic power. Using a woman's yin qi to replenish his yang qi and a man's yang qi to replenish his yin qi. With the balance of yin and yang, the healing speed of this technique was naturally extraordinary. However, Ning Fan could only reluctantly use this technique after he advanced to the divine transformation realm. He could then accompany Lu Wan'er to heal her injuries with his own strength. During the past 1 month, the injuries that Lu Wan'er suffered from forcefully activating her phoenix wings had already healed. Moreover, her demonic power had improved significantly after cultivating together with Ning Fan. As for Ning Fan, most of his injuries had been healed. Unfortunately, he had lost some of his blood essence, which was difficult to replenish. Therefore, his face was still pale and bloodless. Sensing the strong manly scent on Ning Fan's bed and the warmth of their palms touching each other, Lu Wan'er's cheeks flushed and her heart raced. This was the first time she sat on a man's bed. The meaning of this was self-evident. Those in the know knew that the two of them stayed in seclusion for a month to recuperate. Those who did not know would think that the two of them had been in the room for a month. As a result, Ning Fan's reputation as a playboy spread further and further in the Luo Yun province along with his rising fame and prestige. When he was cultivating, his expression was extremely serious and meticulous. There was not a single trace of his usual casual expression. His attentive expression made Lu Wan'er secretly blame him for being insensitive. Everyone in the world knows that I, Lu Wan'er, am your woman. If you don't marry me, what should I do? Come to think of it, my bone age is 900 years old and he is less than 400 years old. I am so much older than him. In the world of cultivation, age was like floating clouds. There were some Tao companions whose cultivations were similar, yet their skeletal ages differed greatly. This was naturally due to their natural endowments. Perhaps only a silly girl like Lu Wan'er would consider the issue of age. Otherwise, there was no need for Ning Fan to marry a wife. Other than Jihe, there seemed to be no one younger than him. Ning Fan gently exhaled and his demon power returned to his body. Then, he slowly opened his eyes. My injuries are almost healed. Wang Xiao is the strongest opponent that I have defeated with my own strength. However, I didn't expect that I would suffer such serious injuries in order to kill him. If it wasn't for my incarnation technique, I probably wouldn't be able to withstand that demon technique that froze the Luo Yun sect. Ning Fan laughed at himself. He clearly knew that his demon power could only put up a fight against a late divine transformation realm cultivator at most after attaining the divine transformation realm. In order to kill a late divine transformation realm cultivator, he would certainly have to pay a huge price, such as injuring himself. Unexpectedly, his self-mockery caused Lu Wanner to roll her eyes at him in annoyance. What do you think? You have just attained the divine transformation realm and you already risked your life against that Wang Shao. It's already not easy for you to exchange for his life at the cost of sustaining serious injuries, alright? Do you know how nervous I was when Wang Shao froze the Luo Yun sect and I saw you dissipating in the demonic technique? I was so scared that you would die. That's right, I'm so scared. Lu Wanner's shoulders trembled slightly. At that time, even though she gritted her teeth and claimed that Ning Fan was not dead, she was actually very nervous. Who asked that Wang Shao to harm you? I don't dare to let him go, don't dare. Outsiders only saw Ning Fan's glory but they did not know that he also had his own fears. He did not dare to put his woman in danger. Ning Fan did not know whether Wang Shao would order the next Zhu Qin to harm Lu Wanner if he lets Wang Shao go this time. Most of the time, a person's courage came from the word don't dare. The reason why the butterfly dared to go against an immortal emperor was not because of its courage but because it had a true love behind its back. Lu Wanner's heart trembled. At this moment, she suddenly felt that Ning Fan was just an ordinary person. He was not as high and mighty as she had imagined him to be. Like an elder sister looking at her beloved younger brother, Lu Wanner raised her fair arms and gently held Ning Fan's neck. Her eyes were filled with deep affection. Don't be afraid. I will be fine. Ning Fan, tell me your story, all right. From Ning Fan's eyes, Lu Wanner could see too much exhaustion and loneliness. This determined man must have a lot of stories behind him, do you want to hear it? I want to truly understand you. Lu Wanner's expression was unusually serious. She gently leaned forward and shrunk into Ning Fan's arms. Her soft chest pressed against Ning Fan's thin but firm chest. She was shy and bold. The demon race was not bound by etiquette. Love was love. The current Lu Wanner was not the #1 spirit augmentation master in Luo Yun but a little fox whose heart had been moved. Tell me everything about you. Let me see your true appearance. Her eyes gradually became blurry. The appearance that Ning Fan had transformed into, Liu Bei, gave her an increasingly unfamiliar feeling. She did not want to see Liu Bei. She wanted to see the real Ning Fan. Appearance, Ning Fan flicked his sleeves and his appearance changed rapidly. His body did not change much. He was still thin and weak but his face became more handsome and angular. However, his true appearance was much younger, thinner and more scholarly than what Lu Wanner had imagined. You're so young. If I walk with you, others will say that you're my younger brother. Lu Wanner gently turned her head away. Her face blushed. It was her first time seeing Ning Fan's true appearance but it made her heart beat faster. You little fox. You're quite big. Without giving her a chance to speak, Ning Fan directly pulled her into his embrace. Ah! Lu Wanner let out a soft cry. Her face was filled with embarrassment. She had never experienced anything like this before. She instinctively turned around and tried to escape. Just as she was about to climb out of Ning Fan's embrace and stand up, she accidentally stepped on Ning Fan's leg and fell into his embrace with her back facing him. Facing this beauty who had delivered herself to his doorstep, Ning Fan carried a teasing smile on his face and directly hugged her in his arms. Now, the little fox can't run away anymore, right? I won't run anymore. I won't run anymore. Let go of me. Your hand. Your hand, due to her injuries, Lu Wanner's clothes were already thin. Now that her back was pressed against Ning Fan's chest, she naturally felt embarrassed. As for Ning Fan, he had already regarded her as his woman. Thus, he naturally did not care. He placed his arm on Lu Wanner's chest and pressed against her two soft mounds. With a gentle press, the soft mounds sunk in. When her breasts were touched by Ning Fan's arm, Lu Wanner felt that her entire body had lost all of its strength as if she was about to melt into Ning Fan's embrace. Originally, she was not bound by the rules of etiquette. In the beginning, it was just out of a woman's shyness. However, she did not feel disgusted by Ning Fan's touch. She gently lowered her head, allowing her black hair to cover her blurred eyes. However, she no longer resisted and allowed Ning Fan to hold her in such an ambiguous position. One had to admit that Lu Wanner's childish face and large breasts were definitely a fatal temptation to men. Moreover, as a member of the Fox clan, she was born with a natural charm. At first, Ning Fan was just teasing her. However, when he touched her soft mounds, he immediately felt reaction from his little Ning Fan. Thus, Lu Wanner's soft and perky buttocks were inadvertently poked by something through her thin clothes. If she was a human girl, her face would probably turn red with embarrassment. However, Lu Wanner was indeed a member of the demon race. Her blurred eyes carried a hint of shyness, but she also felt content with the atmosphere. This is a good thing. It means that my lover has fallen in love with me. In his eyes, I'm still very attractive. No wonder so many sisters of the Fox clan are willing to fall in love with mortals. It turns out that falling in love is such a wonderful feeling. While Lu Wanner's mind was in a state of confusion, she suddenly let out a soft moan. It turned out that Ning Fan's hand had slipped into her thin shirt as if he was playing tricks on her. Then, he gently caressed her plump and tender breasts. "Little fox, didn't you say that you are bigger than me just now? Now, let me take a closer look and see how much bigger you are compared to me. I'm talking about bone age. Not this." It was as if something was expanding and flowing inside her body, making her feel numb and mesmerized. Originally, she wanted to listen to Ning Fan talk about the past. However, she did not expect to end up in such an ambiguous situation. Lu Wanner's breasts were squeezed into any shape through the cloth. Traces of electric currents flowed through her body. Her breathing gradually quickened and carried the fragrance of orchids. She felt as if she was intoxicated. Between her thighs, there was gradually something slippery. Her cheeks were as hot as blood. Above her perky buttocks, for snow-white and soft fox tails slowly popped out from under her clothes. People said that fox demons were easily aroused. Once they were aroused, they would easily show their demonic appearance. From the looks of it, it was true. One of Ning Fan's hands was rubbing Foxy's breasts while the other hand was stroking her fox tail. The hot fox tail seemed to be congested with blood. At the moment when Ning Fan touched it, Lu Wanner seemed to be greatly stimulated. She bit her lips tightly. However, a comfortable feeling that filled her entire body made her unable to endure it and let out a soft moan. "Don't touch. Don't. Here is, The fox tail of a female fox is actually so sensitive." Ning Fan's fingers stroked the fox tail rhythmically. As for Lu Wanner, the stimulation became more and more intense. She lifted her messy hair and looked at Ning Fan in a daze. Her red lips were as red as blood and glittered with crystal-clear saliva as if she was yearning for a kiss. Ning Fan sensibly kissed Lu Wanner's lips. From her soft lips, he could feel a different kind of sweetness. Lu Wanner felt as if she was suffocating when her cherry lips were blocked by Ning Fan. At the same time, she felt as if she was ascending to the clouds. Ning Fan's hand that was stroking the fox tail slid to her thighs through her thin shirt. His fingers were wet. At this moment, Lu Wanner's delicate body trembled violently. More moisture seeped through her thin shirt and stained Ning Fan's fingers. Her eyes were filled with shyness and affection. Under Ning Fan's touch, it actually reached its peak. There was a hint of reproach. She blamed Ning Fan for making her lose her composure like this. Girls of the fox race are really what? Really shameless, aren't you? Lu Wanner was slightly nervous. "No. It's really too tempting, don't be so glib-tongued. You haven't even told me your story and you're already teasing me." Lu Wan'er's cheeks were still flushed and she rolled her eyes at Ning Fan. However, she also understood that Ning Fan's action of caressing her could be considered as her charm being too successful. This meant that she was very charming in his eyes. I want to hear your story. Yes, I'll tell you now. It was in the human race's reigned celestial realm, a mid-rank cultivation country called the country of Wu. There, a 3-year-old child was accepted into the Ning family of Hai Ning. Chapter 283. The night wind was silent while the blood moon was in deep thought. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with reminiscence as he recounted the past. One after another, his beauties appeared in his story. Scenes of life and death appeared in his sea of blood. Lu Wan'er was somewhat prepared for Ning Fan's beauties. Even though her expression was gloomy, she knew that Ning Fan was a passionate and devoted person. However, Lu Wan'er did not expect that the path of a heavenly genius like Ning Fan would be filled with ups and downs. The days in Hai Ning were peaceful and warm. That child's surname was Yun, but because he was too ordinary, he was given the name Ning Fan. The peaceful days lasted until he was 16 years old. Ning Fan had a younger brother. Just like his brother, he longed for a peaceful life. However, life did not give him a choice. There was a young master named Ning Tian who tried to harm him. When he was 16 years old, Ning Fan was harmed by him and sold to bandits. After a few twists and turns, he ended up in the neighboring Yu country. In the all-pleasure sect of Yu country, I, who was just an ant, was almost raped to death by a group of vein-opening realm female evil women. Ning Fan's expression was calm as if he was telling someone else's story. In his eyes, the grudges he had with the all-pleasure sect had almost faded away. He had already reached the divine transformation realm. He no longer cared about the group of dead vein-opening realm female cultivators. However, Lu Wan'er could not remain calm after listening to his story. She clenched her fists tightly and her eyes flashed with a hint of anger. Her lover was plotted against and humiliated by the female evil women. She was eager to know what happened after that. Ning Fan was just an ordinary person when he was 16 years old. What happened after he turned 16 that made him embark on the path of killing? How did he survive? A young lady saved me twice. Her name is Ji He. If it wasn't for her, I would have died. When talking about Ji He, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a trace of complicated feelings. There was regret for not returning after a long time and also deep longing for her. Ji He. Lu Wan'er knew that this lady must be very important to Ning Fan. She had even heard Ning Fan calling Ji He's name in his sleep by chance. She had long known about the existence of this lady, but it was her first time hearing Ning Fan mention her name. What kind of lady was she? Lu Wan'er asked softly. She's a silly girl. She's so silly that I can't bear to hurt her. She doesn't like to fight or cultivate. She yearns for an ordinary life. However, she is not wrong. She should have been born in the primordial era and lived a peaceful life as a princess. Every day, she would play with butterflies in the herb garden. Unfortunately, she was born in a chaotic world. On the path of cultivation, if you want to advance, you will inevitably have to fight for opportunities. If you don't kill, you will be killed. She is not suitable for cultivation, but I have promised her that her hands will not be stained with blood. No matter what, I will do it. She is very happy. Lu Wan'er sighed enviously. Xiao Lan's forbearance, Bai Lu's rebelliousness, Suchio's stubbornness, and Cece. There are many people and things that I miss in Yu country. There is also an indelible blood feud. Ever since I entered the Ning family, I had no parents. In order to protect my younger brother, I had to use my mortal body to fight for and rob everything I needed. It was very tiring, but I could not give in. Until I met my master, everything changed. At first, I was forced to acknowledge him as my master. Later on, Later on, I followed him to 7 Apricot City and gradually fell in love with the life there. There, I was the young lord of 7 Apricot City. I was no longer lowly and I was no longer bullied and discriminated against by others. Master gave me everything I needed. He taught me the iron rules of cultivation and helped me rescue my younger brother. Until now, I still can't forget the first time I met my master. He stood in the sky under the moonlight with a domineering aura. In the cold winter of 7 Apricot City, I experienced for the first time, the joy of living, the warmth and the freedom to talk and laugh freely. If Han Ye Tian didn't appear, perhaps I would have stayed in 7 Apricot City for the rest of my life. He was my master's disciple, foster son and the person he trusted the most in the past. However, he betrayed my master. He is one of the divine sovereigns of the devil world. He is an expert who invaded the rain world alone but could make the entire world fear him. He is a void fragmentation realm expert. However, my battle with him won't be far away. After my master left, he might not come to the rain world again but return to the sword world. However, he will certainly go to the ruins of the ancient heavenly court. There, I will settle the old scores with him. No matter how many divine sovereigns or void fragmentation realm experts try to stop me, I will still kill him. It's not just because of the hatred but also because I don't dare. I don't dare to let this rebellious disciple hurt my master's heart again. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with killing intent. Lu Wan'er turned around and hugged Ning Fan tightly. She could not imagine how a young man who had just attained the harmonious spirit realm could carry such a heavy hatred and reach the divine transformation realm step by step. Void fragmentation realm, the divine sovereigns of the devil world. A peak divine transformation realm expert could already dominate the second world and a void refinement realm expert could become a demon marshal in the place where they were in deep slumber. The void fragmentation realm was a cultivation realm that one could only dream of but never reach. Lu Wan'er asked herself if she had such an enemy, she would have already given up all hope. However, Ning Fan gritted his teeth and stubbornly carried the pressure step by step until he reached where he was today. Don't lose to him. Don't die. Lu Wan'er said softly. She believed that her lover would one day step on the heaven court and appear in front of Moksha Sovereign with an unparalleled strength. That traitor would be so shocked that his eyeballs would pop out. Ning Fan's eyes gradually calmed down. He was just holding Lu Wan'er in his arms. Their body temperature was warm. The path of cultivation was not only filled with killing, exhaustion and hatred but also joy and laughter. As for him, he could improve his strength step by step. He could protect his true love with his own strength. That was enough. Time after time, Ning Fan talked about the bloody shadow of cultivation and grew up step by step. It made Lu Wan'er sometimes silent, sometimes nervous, sometimes happy and sometimes fascinated. The people of the second world had been guarding the demon marshal in slumber for their entire lives. No one had ever lived such a magnificent life like Ning Fan's. Lu Wan'er knew that Ning Fan must be very tired. However, he never said it out loud and only wore a smiling expression. Ning Fan, with me around, you can rest peacefully for a night. There will be no conflicts and no killings. You don't have to worry about being ambushed after you fall asleep. I will protect you. I can't be tired. Ning Fan knocked on Lu Wan'er's forehead and said with a smile. All right. The story is over. Let's get down to business. Take off your clothes. Business. Take off my clothes. Lu Wan'er's face was as red as blood but she answered softly like a mosquito buzzing. Then, she began to unbutton her clothes. The business that she understood was naturally. A good night is short and a man and a woman are in love. With her back facing Ning Fan, she took off her inner shirt, revealing her snow-white shoulders. Then, she reached out to untie the silk belt of her bra. Her snow-white bra slid down to the bed. She was wearing a thin skirt and her upper body was naked. Lu Wanner gently held her breasts to cover them. Then, she turned around with embarrassment and said in a low voice. "Husband, please, take pity on me." Ning Fan tried his best to hold back his laughter. The business that Lu Wanner was talking about did not seem to be the same as what he was talking about. Originally, he wanted Lu Wanner to take off her outer shirt so that he could activate his demon power and help her completely subdue the phoenix wings. However, since the lady misunderstood him, it would be embarrassing for her if he explains it now. There seemed to be no difference between doing good things first and subduing the phoenix wings later. Ning Fan took off his sleeve and flicked his finger. The candles in the room were extinguished and the veil was lowered. Then, he gently pressed Lu Wanner under his body and sealed her lips at the same time. An alluring moan sounded at the bank of the demon river. It was exceptionally charming. With Ning Fan's help, Lu Wanner tried to completely subdue the peak profound Earth Realm Phoenix Wings spirit equipment. The Phoenix Wings were originally Su Ri's wings. Su Ri was killed by Ning Fan. Even though the Phoenix Wings did not have spiritual intelligence, they seemed to be afraid of Ning Fan when he injected his demon power into them. They did not dare to resist at all and were directly subdued by Lu Wanner's demon blood. What followed next was a few months of seclusion to refine the wings. In this way, even though it would be difficult for her to use the wings in the future, she would not suffer such a backlash. As for Lu Wanner, breaking through to the divine transformation realm was just a matter of time with her innate potential. After Ning Fan gave her half of the cloud platform amethysts, it was no longer difficult for her to awaken her blood for the third time. 28 amethysts. This is equivalent to 28 blood awakening pills. Why don't you eat them yourself? Why are you giving them to me? Lu Wanner asked, but her heart was filled with sweetness. Silly girl. If you didn't give me the blood awakening pills, I might not be able to awaken my royal bloodline when I awaken my blood for the second time. There's no need for you to be so polite with me. Lu Wanner was currently in seclusion at Ning Fan's residence. During the time when she was in seclusion, her brother Lu Xing also visited her many times. Ning Fan also treated him politely without being arrogant. As for the busy social activities, Ning Fan pushed them to Lu Xing. Opening the world passage of the third world required a massive ancient demon sacrifice. It was unknown how long it would take to set up the formation. Before that, Ning Fan had to make some preparations. For the trip to the Star Palace, it was better to increase his strength as much as possible. His demon power had already reached the early divine transformation realm. Advancing to the mid-divine transformation realm was still a long way off. His devil chi was at 109 units. Advancing to the divine transformation realm required a large amount of corpse chi and yin chi. It was impossible for him to achieve that in a short period of time. His magic power was already at 3,495 units. If he devours the geocentric nether milk, he could advance further. If he plucks Yu Lingkong, he should be able to improve his magic power by quite a lot. Even though he was still far away from the divine transformation realm, it would not be difficult for him to attain the half-divine transformation realm. Other than that, the last important method to increase his strength was to awaken his blood for the third time. Having more strength means having more security. Wanner is in seclusion. Before I go into seclusion, I can first deal with the affairs of the Luoyun realm. When Ning Fan walked in the general's residence, each of the demon guards immediately stood up and saluted him with a solemn and respectful expression on their faces. As for the demon maids who were busy working in the residence, their eyes lit up when they saw Ning Fan. Their eyes were filled with admiration and admiration. This subordinate greets General Bei. Ning Fan always nodded to these people who were respectful to him. Inwardly, he thought how honored it would be if the deceased Liu Bei knew that his name had spread across the land of slumber after his death. When Ning Fan arrived at the inner hall of the residence, the Wind Lady and the Tea Lady were busy working. They followed Ning Fan's instructions and purchased a large amount of medicinal herbs which were unique to the demon race. For example, the spirit refining grass which was used to cultivate the sense concealment art. Other than that, there were also many rare medicinal herbs. Other than purchasing medicinal herbs, countless experts of the Luo Yun realm and the foreign races came to visit Ning Fan after Ning Fan's shocking performance. Even though they did not see him in person, they gave him a large amount of gifts. Of course, they had to keep these gifts well and wait for Ning Fan to receive them. When Ning Fan appeared in the inner hall, the two ladies immediately rose to their feet. Their expressions were tired and haggard. "The two of us greet Master. The two of you have worked hard. The Luo Yun realm will not be peaceful in the near future. Be careful in everything you do. How about this? The two of you return to the cauldron ring first and give these pills to Bing Ling and Yu Ling to the other ladies to increase their cultivation base. The two of you should also recover to the late gold core realm. One more step and you will be at the peak gold core realm. You can prepare to form your nascent soul." Pa Ning Fan took out more than 10 bags of pills that he had prepared beforehand and threw them on the table. All of them were obtained by killing countless cultivators over the years. There were too many pills and they were too complicated. Most of them were for harmonious spirit realm and gold core realm cultivators to consume. To Ning Fan, they no longer had any medicinal effect. However, he could give them to the cauldrons. Ning Fan had always been focused on cultivation and rarely cared about the cauldrons. Perhaps, he would need to borrow the power of the cauldrons in the future. The higher the cultivation base of these 1,000 cauldrons, the better it would be. So many pills. The eyes of the two ladies sparkled. They did not have any objection to returning to the cauldron ring. With so many pills, it was only a matter of time before the two of them could return to the nascent soul realm. By the way, how many of the 108 types of spiritual ores have you bought? Master, I've already gathered all of the spiritual ores that you require yesterday. The last type is right here, and they're all here. The wind lady stroked her purple hair and took out a bulging storage pouch. She passed it to Ning Fan, expecting a word of praise. "You have found all of them?" Ning Fan was a little surprised. The 108 types of spiritual ores that he needed were needed to refine the third immemorial divine weapon. Most of them were materials to refine spiritual treasures, and some of them were treasures that even void refinement realm old monsters regarded as treasures. In his opinion, it would be difficult to collect half of the spiritual ores during this 1 month of recuperation. He never thought that the Wind Lady and the Tea Lady would complete their task perfectly and collect all of them. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. How could he not understand the reason why everything went so smoothly? There was only one explanation: his luck had really returned. Hidden beneath the black aura was a violet aura. Good fortune blessing. Recalling the old monster's extremely bad luck in the past, Ning Fan sighed. It seemed that he would not continue the old monster's old path. He had failed more than 50 times in concocting pills. "Master, how are you going to reward us?" The Wind Lady's eyes carried a hint of charm while the Tea Lady's eyes were filled with desire. "You have some guts to ask for a reward from me." Ning Fan patted the two ladies' head in annoyance. "When I kill countless Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm cultivators in the future, I will collect 1,000 Dao fruits for you cauldrons to improve your cultivation. What do you think of this reward? Collecting Dao fruits for cauldrons to improve their strength?" Only Ning Fan, who had recovered his luck, was qualified to say this. It would not be difficult for him to obtain Dao fruits in the future. "No." The Wind Lady's eyes flashed with a hint of affection. "All right, then I will give you a reward that you are satisfied with." Ning Fan's eyes flashed and closed the door. He naturally knew what the Wind Lady desired. It was good. He was a spirit-severing cultivator. Dual cultivation with the two ladies would greatly benefit them. It would greatly reduce the time needed for them to return to peak Gold Core Realm. Thus, the sound of moaning could be heard in the inner hall. In the end, the two ladies were kept into the cauldron ring and brought a large number of pills to the other cauldrons. This short period of peace made Ning Fan feel as if he had returned to Seven Apricot City. But before he kept the two ladies, Ning Fan asked a question. The tea lady's answer made him frown. During my 1 month of recuperation, did demon concubine Wu Yan come? No. It seems that she was temporarily imprisoned in the Misty Rain Tower by concubine Z, is that so? Ning Fan took a step out of the snowstorm in the general's mansion. His body turned into a strand of purple smoke that was as thin as a strand of hair and disappeared in a flash. At the next moment, he appeared outside the Misty Rain Tower in the province. From afar, this place was no longer as prosperous as it used to be. Because of concubine Z's arrival, the Misty Rain Tower no longer entertained guests or played music for anyone. There were also 2 spirit-severing realm female concubines guarding the place outside. Ordinary people could not enter at all. Ning Fan, on the other hand, was unscrupulous. His eyes were deep in thought. After a while, he opened his mouth and spat out a golden relic. It was the national treasure of Wei country, All Heaven relic. This relic was condensed by the ancestor of Wei after he passed away. In fact, it could be considered as a half-step void treasure. It could block all senses below the void refinement realm. In the past, because Ning Fan's cultivation base was not high enough, he could only passively block the divination of the heavenly secrets. Now, with the slight control of his demon power, no one below the void refinement realm would be able to detect him. Another advantage of breaking through to the spirit-severing realm was that he could use this treasure. Ning Fan swallowed the relic again and slightly activated the all-heaven force. His figure gradually became ethereal. As long as he did not use his demon power recklessly, he would not be exposed. He took a step forward and turned into a purple smoke, drifting into the Misty Rain Tower. The 2 spirit-severing realm experts who were guarding the door did not notice that someone had intruded. Even concubine Z, who was bathing on the top floor, did not notice that someone had intruded. In one of the rooms, there were layers of formations. Inside the room, there was an enchanting woman who was wearing a green feather robe and had the charm of a young married woman. She was sitting alone at the dressing table, holding the side of her face with her palm. Looking at her haggard face in the bronze mirror, she sighed softly. Her face seemed to still have the burning pain from that day. In her heart, there was a trace of grievance, loneliness and helplessness. 10,000 years of imprisonment. Stinking thief, I've been imprisoned for 10,000 years for you, but you didn't know, puff. Puff, the sound of sand erosion could be heard. Above the formation light outside the room, a purplish-golden sandstorm blew a hole in the formation light. At this moment, a purple smoke gently flew into the room. What's that sound? Demon concubine Wu Yan glanced at the door. Seeing that there was nothing unusual, she shook her head. Could it be that my mind is in a mess and I'm having an illusion? However, when her gaze fell on the bronze mirror again, her eyes suddenly flashed with a hint of surprise, grievance, nervousness and astonishment. She gently clenched her teeth and suppressed the sorrow in her heart, turning it into the calm and arrogant expression she had in the past. In the bronze mirror, the smile of a white-robed young man was reflected behind her. Why are you here? This is the Misty Rain Tower. Concubine Z has imposed a curfew on this place. No one is allowed to enter this place without permission. Wu Yan tried her best to remain calm. However, her slightly trembling palms showed that she was not feeling calm at all. You've been humiliated because of me. If I don't come and take a look, am I still a human? Even though Ning Fan's words carried a teasing tone, it poked at Wu Yan's heart, causing her to be drowned by a trace of desolation. I'm just giving face to little sister One Air. You don't have to think too much about it. If you can see it, I've been grounded here. Even though I'm not free, it's not a big deal. If you've seen enough, you can leave now. If you don't leave, Don't blame me for calling people to catch you, a thief who stole my scent. If you want to call for help, you could have done so the moment I showed up. Ning Fan chuckled and directly walked to the bedside. He lay on Wu Yan's brocade quilt and took a deep breath. It smells so good. People say that a beautiful woman can add fragrance to a book. One can read 10 lines at a glance and have a photographic memory. That's the truth. Ning Fan deliberately took out a scroll of the demon scripture and began to study it. You! How dare you! Wu Yan was so angry that she was speechless. Could it be that this Ning Fan deliberately sneaked into the Misty Rain Tower to anger me? However, she didn't realize that all her lonely thoughts had been forgotten by Ning Fan in a fit of anger. Tell me, what's your purpose for coming here? Based on Wu Yan's understanding of Ning Fan, she knew that he was a utilitarian person. The reason he came to find her was probably not just to visit her. I have one purpose. Ning Fan took a step forward. As expected. Wu Yan sighed. She knew that Ning Fan would not come to visit her. After all, she was not Lu Wan heir. How could she attract his attention? I came here just to make you feel at ease. Don't worry. I have a way to prevent you from being imprisoned by concubine Z for 10,000 years. What did you say? Wu Yan's beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. She really did not expect that the reason Ning Fan came to visit her was to say such words. Her mind raced, but she could not think of any way that Ning Fan could prevent concubine Z from complaining to the Spirit King. Kill concubine Z and the others. Moreover, it was not something that Ning Fan could do. It was certainly impossible. Making use of his background in the upper world to make concubine Z fearful and make her give in. Ning Fan was a human. He did not have any foundation in the heavenly demon world. Concubine Z would not be afraid of him. Moreover, with her personality, it was hard for her to give face to anyone. What exactly do you want to do? I want to help you. Don't talk nonsense. I'm a demon concubine from the upper world. I have nothing to do with you. Why do you need to help me? Wait. Before Wu Yan could finish her words, Ning Fan had already taken a step forward and left. The golden-purple sandstorm easily blew away the formation in the room. It was as if ordinary formations could not stop his footsteps at all. Wu Yan was stunned. Her expression became more and more complicated. Stinky thief, do you really want to help me? I hope you won't do anything stupid. Chapter 284. It had been almost 12 years since she last met Ning Fan. Yu Lincoln was in great pain. She spent days and nights trying to suppress the power in her sea of consciousness from going out of control. She desperately needed to have sex with a man to vent the excess magic power in her body. Damn it. That Ning Fan had ignored me for 12 years. Isn't he worried that he would lose a human cauldron if I die in this small kiliacosm? She scolded angrily, but her expression became more and more indignant. This is really an unlucky year for me. First, my body was devoured by my second primordial spirit. Then, I used the moon will technique and borrowed the power of the samsara of moonlight to reconstruct this little girl's body. However, because of the problem in my sea of consciousness, I was picked up by someone and sold as a human cauldron. A human cauldron is a human cauldron. This old lady will endure this anger. No matter which perverted person got me, I would have taken action long ago since I have a divine transformation realm human cauldron to pluck me. Anyway, I need a male cultivator to vent his excess magic power. Even if I get fucked by a man, I will just treat it as a cucumber thorn and endure this anger. At most, I will recover my strength and kill that male cultivator after I'm done. Unfortunately, I fell into the hands of this brat. This brat is waiting. He is waiting for my cultivation base to collapse and I will beg him to pluck me. Then, the amount of cultivation base that I will recover will be lesser and he will get more benefits. Unfortunately, I am trapped in his world treasure and I have no choice but to beg him to do it with me. I have guarded my chastity for 4,000 years. Yu Lingkong was in pain while cursing fiercely. Her words did not sound like the tone that a woman should have at all. If one were to find the most accurate word to describe her, there was probably only one word that could perfectly describe her: a woman. There was probably no other woman in the 4 heavens and 9 worlds who could say something like being stung by a cucumber thorn. However, it was true that Yu Lingkong could barely hold on. The excess magic power accumulated in her sea of consciousness, causing her who was in the body of a little girl to hold her head and squat on the ground. Her face was filled with pain. However, as one of the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea, she was used to being a female overlord. No matter how painful it was, she did not shed a single tear. She just frowned and kept cursing. When Ning Fan entered the Yuanyao world, he activated the All-Heaven relic and hid himself at the side. He really didn't know if it was appropriate for him to appear here and now. This Yu Lingkong is rather shrewish. However, that's right. As a woman, she has become the strongest overlord of the inner sea's fiendish land and commanded everyone. If she had a weak temperament, I would be surprised instead. He pondered for a long time and finally decided to show himself. When Ning Fan's figure appeared in front of Yu Lingkong, this shrewish little girl was stunned. She actually did not know when Ning Fan had entered the Yuanyao world. This undoubtedly meant that Ning Fan's concealment technique was enough to fool her half-step void refinement realm spirit sense. You stinking brat, your concealment technique isn't bad. It seems like your strength has increased quite a bit over the past 12 years. However, as long as they haven't reached the soul formation realm, they are just ants in my eyes. The little girl panted heavily. Her face was pale, and it was difficult for her to endure the pain. Ning Fan did not say a word. He took a step forward and actually stepped into the grand formation that imprisoned the little girl. As soon as the light touched Ning Fan's body, it was immediately dissolved by the purplish golden wind and mist. That speed was already comparable to a mid-divine transformation realm expert without summoning the Fuli wings. Especially when he teleported, the demonic chi of that step was clearly at the early divine transformation realm and his cultivation base was already extremely stable. The little girl's small face was filled with astonishment. She swallowed her words halfway. She did not expect that Ning Fan could break through to the divine transformation realm within 12 years. Moreover, the sudden appearance of the purplish golden wind and mist gave her an extremely dangerous feeling. Even if she regained her half-step void refinement realm cultivation base, it would not be easy for her to withstand that wind and mist magic technique. As for her current body of a little girl, she thought that she would not be able to withstand that technique at all. Once she is attacked by Ning Fan, she would probably be killed instantly. It has only been 12 years and this brat has actually succeeded in his incarnation. Moreover, his strength has increased to such an extent. If I'm not wrong, the baleful chi on this brat is very strong. He has already killed at least 10 divine transformation realm beings and above. To be precise, there were a total of 15 divine transformation realm beings or wild beasts that died in Ning Fan's hands, starting from the vice sect leader of the Black Buddha sect and adding the tragic Black Dragon and Blood Dragon. His baleful chi was certainly extraordinary. Even Yu Lingkong no longer dared to underestimate Ning Fan. This brat is really a monster, Yu Lingkong. I seem to have come at the right time. You can't hold on any longer, can you? Ning Fan's eyes were indifferent. Humph. What nonsense are you talking about? Quickly come and fuck me. I'm going to explode from my magic power. The little girl exploded with anger. What nonsense are you talking about? Isn't it just plucking? It's not a big deal. 1 in and 1 out is enough. Hurry up. Hurry up. Ning Fan was speechless. When a rapist like him met a tomboy who had the body of a little girl, he really met his nemesis. To be honest, Yu Lingkong, who had the body of a 7 to 8 years old girl, really did not interest Ning Fan at all. Compared to Lu Wan, who was a seductive fox demon, the difference between them was like heaven and earth. Hurry up and do it with me. After I'm done, I still need to refine my magic power and restore my cultivation base. Hurry up. I guarantee that I will fuck you until you want to fuck me in 3 breaths. Ning Fan swore that he had never seen such a crude tomboy in his life. However, from another point of view, Ning Fan really admired Yu Lingkong's personality. She did not bother about trifles, dared to do whatever she wanted, was strong and heroic, and was decisive in killing. It was not hard to imagine that when this lady was at her peak, she would definitely be a female tyrant in the inner endless sea. Good. Good. Ning Fan, you win. Tell me, what benefits do you want so that you're willing to do it with me once? I just escaped from the divine space island with this broken body of mine. I don't have a single cent on me. That's not accurate. I do have some good things on me. This pair of shackles are made of 6-element mithril. Even though they are the size of a fist, they weigh 5,000 jin. If you do it with me, I will give you this pair of shackles. You can refine this mithril into 6-element silver essence that is the size of a fingernail. It can increase the sealing power of talisman-type magic treasures. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. He naturally knew that Yu Lingkong's shackles were good items. If it wasn't for the immemorial star iron that had the ability to attack the illusory body of the fiend god bloodline, it might not be much stronger than the 6-element silver essence in terms of toughness. Moreover, Ning Fan also knew that the old devil's den fragmentation cauldron was refined using the rotten silver iron of the devil world. The rotten silver iron was actually just a kind of mineral associated with the 6-element mithril. It was far less sturdy than the mithril. In short, the shackles were good items. However, the number of them was too little. Yu Lingkong, I won't talk nonsense with you anymore. Now that you're in my hands, I have quite some confidence that I can forcefully pluck your cultivation base clean. By doing so, I can increase my magic power by at least 1,000 units. However, I also know that you're the strongest among the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea. The Divine Space Island has your entire life's reserves, and there are also many of your Divine Transformation Realm female disciples. I want everything of the Divine Space Island. You can choose whether or not to be plucked by me. You can also try to temporarily recover your half-step void refinement realm strength and kill me to vent your anger. However, even if you recover your half-step void refinement realm, you still won't be able to kill me. With a thought, a trace of the black dragon refined corpse's aura force slowly spread out. The aura force of the half-step void refinement realm shocked Yu Lingkong for the first time. A half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. Why, you actually have a refined corpse of this level? The half-step void refinement realm. In the internal sea of the endless sea, this kind of cultivation base was considered as one of the 7 venerated beings. They were all supreme experts. However, in Ning Fan's hands, it was just a refined corpse. This young man is really ruthless. He actually dares to turn such an expert into a refined corpse. Even if I damage myself and activate a trace of the power of my main body, I still might not be his match. One had to admit that she was a very decisive woman. As soon as she realized that she could not win against Ning Fan, she immediately revealed a look of submission. All right. I'll take a step back. If you do it with me, I'll treat you like a cucumber, and I will certainly not take revenge on you after the matter is over. Besides, I can bring you back to the Divine Space Island. I can't give you the island. It's my foundation. Besides, I know that what you're interested in is not the power but the method to increase your strength. I have 7 Divine Transformation Realm female disciples. If you send me back, you can pluck all of them. During the rebellion of my second primordial spirit, they actually dared to betray me and attack me. If it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't have suffered such a crushing defeat. I have 4 divine transformation realm Tao fruits. They are sealed in my treasure house. Other than me, not even my second primordial spirit can open them. If you help me, these Tao fruits will be yours. Yu Lingkong had made her stand clear. She was willing to submit to Ning Fan. Moreover, she did not hesitate to offer a price that was enough to move Ning Fan's heart. 7 divine transformation realm cauldrons and 4 divine transformation realm Tao fruits. With these, Ning Fan's magic power would be more than enough to break through to the divine transformation realm. Are you going to do it with me or not? Just give me an answer. The little girl rolled her eyes at Ning Fan. Her meaning was obvious. I'm a woman and I'm not so slow. Why are you, a man, being so slow? Ning Fan felt that if he still does not pluck Yu Lingkong, he would be despised by this woman. In her eyes, I'm just a cucumber. Ning Fan had 2 choices. One was to forcefully pluck Yu Lingkong at this moment and beat her into submission with his refined corpse. Not only would he pluck the excess magic power in her sea of consciousness, but he would also pluck her early divine transformation realm magic power. In that case, it would be a piece of cake for him to increase his magic power by 1,000 units. The second choice was to only pluck Yu Lingkong's excess magic power and help her recover her strength. Then, he would not let her go for the time being and head to the Divine Space Island with her help. Even though there were many dead people on the Divine Space Island and he did not know if the 7 Divine Transformation Realm female traders were still alive or not, the 4 Divine Transformation Realm Tao fruits certainly would not be able to run away from him. Besides, the Divine Space Island would certainly have a lot of good items. The treasures of the strongest force in the internal sea tempted Ning Fan. Of the 2 choices, the second one was a little uncertain. However, once it succeeds, the benefits would be great. Ning Fan pondered for a while and chose the second option. I agree to your request. I can help you pluck the excess magic power and even help you recover your strength. However, I must plant a mental seal on you. It will prevent you from devouring me in the future. Mental seal? Suit yourself. Yu Lingkong did not even think about it. She just let Ning Fan approach her step by step. She raised her head and looked like she was waiting for him to do whatever he wanted. She was not afraid of the mental seal at all. The most powerful thing about her sea of consciousness that was in the form of moonlight was that it could erase the ordinary mental seal that others planted in her sea of consciousness. In the past, when Yu Lingkong was still young, she was planted with a mental seal by a certain devil woman. In the end, didn't she still break it with her moon sense? Plant it then. She was not afraid at all and let Ning Fan place his palm on the top of her head. Ning Fan smiled faintly. He also understood that the reason why Yu Lingkong was so straightforward was probably because she thought that his moon sense was powerful enough to erase the mental seal. Unfortunately, Yu Lingkong did not know that his mental seal was a little different. The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye flashed. A trace of the power of the royal bloodline of the Fu Li kingdom turned into a mysterious demon seal and engraved it on Yu Lingkong's sea of consciousness. At the moment when Ning Fan's demon star flashed, Yu Lingkong regretted her decision. Demon seal. Wait. Didn't you say I planted a mental seal? A demon seal was a profound mental seal of the demon race in the upper world. The strength of Ning Fan's bloodline was really something that Yu Lingkong had never seen before in her life. When she saw that Ning Fan had planted such a seal on her, she was extremely unwilling because she could not break it. Unfortunately, it's all over. It was too late for her to say no. The demon seal had already been planted. I've suffered a great loss. Yu Lingkong was about to lose her temper. She was planted with a demon seal that could not be erased. Unless she was a great cultivation realm higher than Ning Fan and forcefully broke the seal, she would not be able to erase it. This young man was already at the early divine transformation realm. Without an early void refinement realm cultivation base, she would not be able to break the seal at all. Before attaining the early void refinement realm, I have already become this brat's sex slave. I've suffered a great loss. Unless I break free from the Fuli demon seal, even if I cultivate back to the half-step void refinement realm and become the strongest expert in the internal sea again, I will still be controlled by this brat. Her mind was in a mess and she felt a sharp pain in her sea of consciousness. She completely lost control of the magic power that was sealed in her body like a wild horse that had broken free from its reins. It hurts. It hurts. Yu Lingkong knew that she could no longer hesitate. She would put other matters aside for the time being. Right now, it was more important for her to pounce on Ning Fan. A little Lolita who was around 7 or 8 years old was dragging the heavy shackles on her hands and legs. She was like a cow that was in heat as she pounced on Ning Fan. Her small hands desperately tried to take off Ning Fan's clothes. The silver iron balls that were tied to the shackles hit Ning Fan's head with a thud, creating sparks. Even though he was not injured, it was still very painful, wasn't it? Cough, don't be anxious. Take your time. First, take off these shackles that are in the way. Ning Fan was speechless. It was the first time that he was pounced on by a little girl after so many years. It was as if he was not the one who plucked Yu Lingkong but the one who wanted to force himself on Ning Fan instead. Don't be anxious. How can I not be anxious? If I don't hurry, my little life will be gone. Pale moonlight flashed around the valiant Yu Lingkong's body and directly melted the shackles on her hands and legs, leaving a gap. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. That moonlight is a little terrifying. It can directly melt the 6 harmonies mithril, which is comparable to the toughness of the immemorial star. Doesn't this mean that without attaining the golden body refining realm, one would not be able to withstand the moonlight attack of this lady at all? Indeed, this lady did not rely on luck to dominate the internal sea. Without the shackles, the little Lolita felt that her hands and feet were much more agile. In just a few seconds, she had stripped Ning Fan clean. As for herself, she did not even take off her clothes. Instead, she hurriedly tore off her little skirt, revealing her smooth and clean buttocks. Then, she sat down on the ground. Hurry up. You are just a cucumber. Just watch how I will fuck you. Yu Lingkong's words were sharp but inwardly, she was really a little nervous. No matter how valiant her appearance was, she was still a woman after all. Moreover, this was her first time. With her small hands holding the burning hot rod, she resolutely pierced it into a certain part of her body without any foreplay. However, very soon, she sadly discovered a serious problem. I can't get in. Why can't I get in? Go in quickly. No matter how hard she tried, she just could not get in. You are too young. Ning Fan was speechless. I am 4,000 years old. I am 10 times older than you. Yu Lingkong was so anxious that her small face turned red. Her hair was disheveled. Her head was getting more and more painful. I am not talking about the age of your bones. Ning Fan was also having a headache. The physical body that Yu Lingkong had reconstructed only had the appearance of a 7 or 8-year-old girl. It was too young. She was still far from maturing. It was only natural that she could not get in. You promised me that you will help me. Yu Lingkong was so anxious that she was about to cry. It was very hard to imagine that the strongest expert in the internal sea would be on the verge of tears because of such a strange reason. I have told you before. Don't be anxious. Ning Fan sat up and gently held Yu Lingkong in his arms. With a tug of his palm force, he tore her dress apart. His palm stroked the flat plane. Even though it was soft and tender, it was still very flat after all. You could not expect a 7 or 8-year-old girl to bring you surprises. Do you feel anything? Yu Lingkong's tensed body gradually relaxed. Her skin gradually became wet and slippery. Just bear with it. If you don't want to die from the impact of the magic power. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. A certain part of Yu Lingkong's body was directly ruptured by 3 times. The pain of being torn apart made this stubborn woman shed tears for the first time. It hurts. She directly fainted from the pain. Between her fair thighs, the pink and tender part was filled with dark red blood. I reckon that she will be traumatized for the rest of her life. Let's see if she still dares to look down on Cucumber in the future. Ning Fan sighed, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. He pressed her petite and undeveloped body under him. He was also in pain. However, in order to pluck this woman, he had to endure it for the time being. A professional devil lord who practices dual cultivation must be able to handle all female cultivators. This was called professional ethics. Chapter 285. One day later, Yu Lingkong finally regained consciousness. However, as soon as she opened her eyes, she realized that she was curled up in Ning Fan's embrace in an extremely ambiguous position. She felt a heart-wrenching pain at the place where they were connected. All the storms had passed. No one knew that the #1 female tyrant of the internal sea, Yu Lingkong, had lost her chastity in this desolate world treasure. Ning Fan was refining the primordial yin power that he had plucked. Yu Lingkong was an old virgin who had guarded her chastity for 4,000 years. In addition to the terrifying magic power sealed in her sea of consciousness, after plucking her, her magic power would increase by at least 700 units. He took out the heaven measuring ruler and measured it. His magic power had already exceeded 4,200 jiao. There was still a small amount of primary red essence that he had yet to completely refine. If he could completely refine it, he should be able to reach 4,210 jiao. You're awake. Ning Fan was in a good mood. Even though it was a little painful, he had gained a lot of magic power. Let me go. SS. When Yu Lingkong thought that she had no choice but to be taken advantage of by this little brat, she could not vent her anger. She forcefully pushed Ning Fan away and pulled out the fiery cucumber. For a moment, Yu Lingkong felt a little annoyed. However, after inspecting herself, she realized that her cultivation base had actually recovered to the late divine transformation realm. Only then did her mood improve a little. However, after thinking about it carefully, he was immediately puzzled. If the magic power sealed in his sea of consciousness were to leak out, not to mention fainting, even if he were awake, he would at most recover to the middle stage of soul formation. It would be very difficult for him to recover to the late stage. At that time, he was unconscious, unable to resist, unable to refine his magic power on his own. There was no chance for him to refine his moon sea of knowledge and recover his cultivation. Does this mean that when I was in a coma, someone helped me absorb the excess magic power and restore me to the late stage? There was only me and Ning Fan here. Could it be that this brat helped me? Were you the one who helped me unblock my immortal meridians and restore my late divine transformation realm? Yu Lingkong's tone softened a little. Even though her lower body felt like it was being torn apart, she stubbornly stood up. If an ordinary woman lost her virginity in such a tragic manner, she might not be able to get out of bed, but she had a strong personality and was not afraid of this kind of pain. Not bad. Why are you helping me? You can totally pluck more of this old lady's energy. That way, you will benefit even more. Originally, I wouldn't have given you the chance to recover to the late stage. However, you were unconscious at that time and had already reached the limit of your endurance. You were on the verge of dying from the pain. If I moved a few more times and absorbed some of the primordial red, the current you would already be a dead man. There was nothing she could do about it. Yu Lingkong's physical body was too young. She was a 7 or 8-year-old girl who had fainted from the pain, and he, on the other hand, was a young man who had cultivated the yin-yang transformation and was full of vigor and vigor. Every time he stabbed her, Yu Lingkong was in so much pain that she wished she was dead. When the intercourse lasted for half a day, Ning Fan saw that Yu Lingkong's lips were already pale from the pain. He knew that if he continues to pluck her, she would certainly die without a doubt. Thus, he stopped plucking and helped this woman unblock her immortal meridians and absorb the excess magic power. Finally, she recovered to the late stage of soul formation. It was not that Ning Fan was being merciful. As the saying goes, going too far is as bad as falling short. If he forcefully plucked her, she would definitely die and he might not even be able to pluck more magic power from her. If he kept this girl alive, she could lead the way to the divine space island. Moreover, he could plant a demonic seal in her sea of consciousness. From a certain perspective, once this girl regained her strength, she would be a pretty good fighter. After making all sorts of choices, Ning Fan finally decided to save her. Yu Lingkong knitted her brows. She could no longer see through Ning Fan's character. Even though she knew that Ning Fan saved her out of consideration for his own benefits, no matter what, Ning Fan had saved her outside of the agreement. She still owed him a favor. However, when she looked at the tattered clothes on her body and the fingerprints and hickeys left on her delicate and tender skin, she felt a little annoyed. When she recalled that Ning Fan had planted a demonic seal on her and that she would not be able to break free from his control if she could not break through to the void refinement realm, she became even more displeased. All in all, at this moment, Yu Lingkong's feelings towards Ning Fan could be said to be extremely complicated. Even though she did not have a good impression of him, her killing intent had lessened by a lot. Originally, she planned to break through to the void refinement realm and break free from the demonic seal. After that, she would kill this stinky cucumber who had tainted her purity. However, at this moment, she slightly changed her mind. After breaking free from the demonic seal, she would let this brat go a little. She would spare his life and just imprison him for the rest of his life. I'll just imprison him on the divine space island. If you help me, you will regret it on the day I break free from the mental seal, Yu Lingkong said coldly. Then, she moved a distance of several zhang away from Ning Fan. She sat on the grassland and meditated alone to stabilize and recover her cultivation base. As for Ning Fan, he subtly felt that the killing intent in Yu Lingkong's tone had lessened. I'm not purely helping you because I don't think you can break free from my control. In my eyes, you're just a pretty good fighter. Recovering your strength is also beneficial to me. As a fighter, you're very outstanding. However, as a human cauldron, dual cultivation with you is not fun at all. Yu Lingkong's small face was filled with anger and embarrassment. In the past, her appearance and body were top-notch in the internal sea. Many experts wanted to have sex with her but they were all chased away by her with disdain. Today, even though she had been reduced to a yellow-haired little girl with no breasts and no buttocks, Ning Fan had taken advantage of her and even plucked her for dual cultivation. However, the latter actually gave her a bad evaluation. It really made her unhappy. When I recover my body and strength, I will certainly imprison you on the divine space island. When I have nothing to do, I will do you once. I will do you until you beg for mercy. I will let you see if dual cultivation with me is really that boring or not. When his magic power had completely stabilized at 4,210 units, Ning Fan left a storage pouch for Yu Lingkong. Inside it were some women's clothes, pills and magic treasures. Yu Lingkong naturally accepted all of them without hesitation. Immediately, she changed into a pale yellow robe. After dressing herself up, her appearance was as exquisite as a porcelain doll. Ning Fan proposed to massage her lower body to improve her blood circulation. However, Yu Lingkong rejected him decisively with the reason that she did not want him to touch her lower body. Thus, Ning Fan was happy to relax and continued to cultivate in the Yuanyao world. With the demon restrictions and the guarantee of his strength, he was not afraid of her betrayal. First, it was to deal with the spoils of war. The 8th-ranked Heavenly Ice, the 6th-ranked Eastern Extreme Wind and the 4th-ranked Diming Snow. The 3 types of Heavenly Cold Qi were all precious items among the 5th-grade Cold Qi. Only the demon generals of the upper world who had a lot of assets could easily obtain them. If Ning Fan were to collect them by himself, it would probably be a little difficult. When he took out the 3 types of cold chi one after another, even Yu Lingkong, who was a supreme being of the internal sea, was surprised. Heavenly cold chi. You actually have 3 types. Even I have only collected 2 types. Now, both of them belong to my second primordial spirit. Oh. Is that so? Ning Fan's eyes flashed. If that's the case, doesn't it mean that I can obtain 2 additional types of cold chi when I go to the Divine Space Island? With his Divine Transformation Realm cultivation base, he could already completely absorb the boundless demon power within the 5th grade cold chi. That's right. It was demon power. After being refined by Wang Xiao and Zhou Teng for a long time, these 3 types of cold chi naturally contain demon power instead of increasing his magic power. 1 month later, Ning Fan had completely refined the 3 types of cold chi. His demon power had increased to 18,450 units. In addition to the bone prison breath and the cold pine marrow, he already had 5 types of cold chi. However, he only had 3 types of earth fire. The yin and yang of ice and fire in his body were slightly out of balance. After collecting the spoils of war, the next step was to refine the geocentric nether milk. Under Ning Fan's deliberate absorption of the 200 drops of geocentric nether milk, his magic power finally increased. It was supposed to increase 2,000 units of magic power, but it only increased by 1674 units in the end. It made Ning Fan feel helpless. If one consumes too much of a spiritual item, it would actually lose its effectiveness in the end. It was no wonder that such a good item was not completely consumed by the giant devil clan. Instead, it was used to recruit helpers to explore the secret realm. Perhaps that venerated giant of the giant devil clan had already eaten all of it. His magic power had reached 5,884 units. From refining to stabilizing, it took him a total of 4 months. After breaking through 5,000 units, his magic power finally reached the half-step divine transformation realm. Looking at the sound-transmitting jade token in his hand, he did not receive any notification. Ning Fan knew that the ritual of the realm road was not ready yet. In that case, he still had time to improve his strength. Seeing that Ning Fan had so much geocentric nether milk, Yu Lingkong could not help but speculate that Ning Fan probably had a close relationship with the giant devil clan of the internal sea. That was why she was a little more afraid of him. Of course, Ning Fan would not take the initiative to explain all of this. The last item he took out was 28 pieces of purple crystals. Each of them was transformed from a purple-grade spiritual platform. Each of them was equivalent to the effect of a blood awakening pill. In the past, the members of the Luo Yun clan who broke through to the demon general realm were only given one. Ning Fan did not hesitate to give half of such precious items to Lu Wan, her. As for the rest, he would use it for his 3rd blood awakening. During his 2nd blood awakening, a great phenomenon had already appeared. Even though no one could recognize him, the matter of the royal demon blood had already caused Ning Fan a lot of trouble. For the 3rd blood awakening, he did not plan to do it in the outside world. Instead, he planned to do it in the Yuanya world. At such an important moment, in order to prevent Yu Lingkong from disturbing him unnecessarily, he even summoned the stone warrior and the female corpse to watch over him. The female corpse spent every day with Mu Xiaohuan. She was no longer lonely and her reliance on Ning Fan had also decreased significantly. At least, she was not as clingy as before. After being summoned out of the cauldron ring and separated from Mu Xiaohuan, the female corpse still felt a little reluctant. Light. Play, she was complaining that Ning Fan had disturbed her play with Mu Xiaohuan. When he saw the female corpse's face again, Ning Fan had mixed feelings. He caressed the cold side of her face that did not have any body temperature and did not know what to say. He was no longer a butterfly, and the female corpse was no longer the daughter of the Heaven Emperor who was high and mighty. Even her soul had been separated. This woman had once planted the womb guarding sand in him. In order to stay with him, this woman was deceived by immortal Emperor Zhongqing. One of her souls was Jihe. In this life, she had saved him twice. However, he could not resurrect the female corpse. Even if he had the means, he was reluctant to kill Jihe and the other women to extract their souls and return them to the female corpse. Ning Fan's expression was a little lonely and sad. He could not collect the souls of the female corpse. The only thing he could do was to accompany her more and help her improve her spiritual wisdom so that she could continue living as a corpse devil. I'm sorry. I was too weak in my previous life and I couldn't protect you. In this life, I won't let anyone lay a finger on you. Don't cry. The female corpse seemed to be worried that Ning Fan would cry. She stopped being naughty and patted Ning Fan's head with her cold little hand. She had lost her soul and her memories were shattered. She had turned into a corpse devil. She was no longer Mu Weiliang. She would never be able to understand Ning Fan's sadness at this moment. The female corpse became obedient, but Stone Warrior was stunned. He could never imagine that Ning Fan had already advanced to the divine transformation realm after just 12 years. Now, just by standing in front of Ning Fan, Stone Warrior could feel a strong sense of pressure. Moreover, he could even smell the fiendish qi left behind by a late divine transformation realm expert from Ning Fan's body. This young man has not only advanced to the divine transformation realm but also killed a late divine transformation realm expert. If this young man is born in Northern Heaven, the Northern Heaven will definitely be alerted. However, since this young man has advanced to the divine transformation realm, he must have gone to the Sea of Clouds. I wonder if the third lady who guards the Tao tablets has recruited him, or if his Yuanyao jade has been exposed to the Northern Heaven and brought trouble to the fourth lady. What Stone Warrior did not know was that Ning Fan had indeed attracted the attention of the third lady of the Bei family. He had even shocked the Black Tortoise planet and the immortal Emperor Meng Xuanzi. The sound of the bell had sounded the cycle of samsara and robbed the memories of countless cultivators. In the end, the dignified immortal Emperor Meng Xuanzi actually extended an olive branch to Ning Fan. Even if Ning Fan told Stone Warrior about these things, he would not believe it. He had too many questions to ask. However, he understood that Ning Fan would not tell him the truth since it was a secret. With Stone Warrior and the female corpse watching over him, there was no need to worry about Yu Lingkong, who was an unstable factor. In the Yuanyao world, Ning Fan took a step and appeared at the crater of a volcano. He condensed the rain cauldron there and concocted a few blood awakening pills. After consuming the blood awakening pills and the amethyst, Ning Fan began to attempt the third blood awakening pill. This was the last chance for a demon cultivator of the seven realms to improve his bloodline. The first blood awakening pill would be an ordinary winged demon. The second blood awakening pill would be the Fu Li royal clan. I wonder what the third blood awakening pill would be. Ning Fan took a step forward and leaped into the volcano. He threw the demon blood that he had collected into the crater and directly turned the entire volcano into a pool of demon blood. The only pity was that he did not have the opportunity to worship the statue of the demon ancestor. However, he took out the Eastern Ocean Bell. Inside the lava, Ning Fan sat on the Eastern Ocean Bell and began to awaken his blood. The absence of the demon statue did not mean that there was no gift from the demon ancestor. Moreover, with the presence of the bell, the traces of demon blood in the volcano became incomparably boiling. An immense aura force was drawn out by Ning Fan and swept across the entire volcano. It was even more powerful than the power of the demon ancestor that Lu Zongyun borrowed from the life-blood Joss flames. In the Yuanyao world, a gigantic shadow of a purplish-black demon bird appeared in the sky. At the moment when this gigantic shadow appeared, Ning Fan completely entered a meditative state and his bloodline boiled. He was still unaware of the situation outside, but Yu Lingkong and Stone Warrior, who had extraordinary knowledge and experience, had a drastic change in their expressions. Ancestral shadow bestowal of blood. When Ning Fan awakened his blood for the first time, he was bestowed a drop of ancestral blood by the Fuli ancestor shadow, which allowed him to attain the royal bloodline. And this time, he should be able to obtain even more ancestral blood. Under the enormous pressure of the giant shadow, even someone as arrogant as Yu Lingkong and someone as cold as Stone Warrior felt compelled to submit. The two of them were not demons, but in the face of such a powerful phantom, they actually had the tendency to kneel. However, when that oppressive might swept over, it was dispersed by the female corpse with a light wave of her hand. If it wasn't for that, Yu Lingkong and Stone Warrior would have made a fool of themselves. Who is this female corpse? She's actually able to resist the might of this phantom. Speaking of which, he had never heard of such a ferocious beast before. What kind of beast was it? Was it a true spirit? But among the true spirits, there is such a clan. Stone Warrior was shocked and puzzled. This woman is formidable. This old lady had misjudged her earlier. Yu Lingkong said while pondering. Ning Fan's blood was boiling. His demonic energy didn't increase, but the quality of his demonic blood continued to rise, causing his demonic energy to become purer and purer. While he was in meditation, Ning Fan heard a conversation that came from his bloodline. That voice was filled with supreme dignity, and it was as cold and arrogant as ice. Even though it was cold, there was a hint of intimacy in its tone. That voice came from the ancestral shadow. That intimacy came from the same bloodline. My Fuli clan has been extinct for a long time. It's my great fortune to be able to have descendants. I bestow upon you ancestral blood to protect the heavenly Tao. I bestow upon you 3 drops of ancestral blood. 3 drops. Ning Fan opened his eyes. The purple shadow in the sky disappeared and turned into 3 rays of purplish-black light, shooting into the volcano and entering his body. At this moment, the purple star in his left eye rotated rapidly. The second purple star was slowly condensing. The ability of his left eye to see through illusions became even stronger. Moreover, after condensing the second star, he could plant illusions on his enemies with just a glance. The second star contained an illusory technique called the Blood Moon technique. This technique was rather harsh. It could only be used at night. However, according to Ning Fan's speculation, a single Blood Moon illusion technique from the likes of Wang Xiao would be able to make the latter fall into the illusion and be unable to extricate himself. The first star controlled the attribute while the second star bestowed abilities. The second star of the divine star was called the Melting Star. Its effect was to dissolve true yang power or reverse create true yang power. The second star of the demon star was called the Blood Moon Star. Its effect was to bewitch. Ning Fan had been in seclusion in the magma for a month. When he leaped out of the magma, his chi was much more condensed than before. As a member of the Fuli royal family, he already had 4 drops of ancestral blood. What level would he be if he was not in the demon spirit land? The royal bloodline was the highest grade of bloodline. The difference between the strength of the royal bloodline was based on the ancestral blood. Royal bloodlines without ancestral blood belonged to the lower ranks of the royal bloodline. Those who possessed ancestral blood belonged to the higher ranks. 4 drops of ancestral blood seems to be more than enough to be the clan leader of the true spirit clan. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. If the Fuli clan still existed, he could become the old ancestor of the clan with just 4 drops of ancestral blood. However, this identity would probably not be much weaker than an immortal emperor. Even if his cultivation level was not high, no one would dare to offend him. Unfortunately, the Fuli clan had already been annihilated. Without a large clan, no one would respect him no matter how prestigious his identity was. Finally, it's almost time to refine the 3rd immemorial divine weapon. The Separation Slayer sword has unparalleled sharpness and unparalleled offensive power. The Spirit-Shattering Whip has a lot of uses for sneak attacks and restraints. As for the third divine weapon, why don't I refine a defensive divine weapon? Ning Fan knitted his brows. The incarnation was a void fragmentation realm technique. As his cultivation level increased, the strength of his enemies would also increase. There was no guarantee that his incarnation would not be injured. For example, Wang Xiao had frozen Luo Yun and injured Mo Ying's incarnation. He patted his storage pouch and took out several pieces of immemorial star iron and the purple lightning hammer. Of course, these were the items he obtained from the storage pouches of the demon generals of the upper world. Other than that, Ning Fan took out another 108 types of spiritual ores. In order to achieve pure sharpness, the Separation Slayer sword had removed most of its materials. However, this defensive treasure had to rely on the sturdiness of the immemorial star and the transformation abilities of the spiritual ores to achieve the effect of absolute defense. Let's call this third divine weapon the Star-Fixing Plate. Countless wild continents were floating in the void of the upper world. The continents were divided into 9 grades according to their geographical location and spiritual chi. All the continents above the 7th grade belonged to the True Spirit clan. A certain 9th grade continent was concealed by mysterious formation marks in the void. At the center of the continent was a gigantic palace made of black jade. Inside the palace, there were countless beautiful women. Each of their chi was not weak. Among the many palaces, the most luxurious one was protected by layers of defensive formations. Ordinary demon concubines could not get close to it at all. Under the strict protection, a gigantic black beast with a body of 1,000,000 zhang was crouching inside the palace. Black qi lingered around its body and the stench of pus permeated the air. It seemed to be caused by the festering of its wounds. The gigantic beast remained silent for an unknown period of time. In front of it, there was an ancient purplish-black stone tablet. The giant beast was struggling to absorb something from the stone tablet. I don't have much spirit left. This tablet of the Fu Li clan is the last true spirit treasure in my possession. After absorbing the spirit of this item, I'm afraid there's nothing else that can replenish my spirit. 9th grade True Spirit Clan. I will settle this debt with all of you in the future. The gigantic beast had a hideous appearance but its voice was soft like a woman's. This beast was the severely injured Spirit King. Ever since it took over the position of the previous Spirit King, it had never plucked any demon concubines. The reason was because it was not a man. Nalan Zi personally went to the lower realm to look for the ashes of the arch-medicine. If she failed, there's no need for her to live anymore. The gigantic beast said coldly. It seems that a low-grade demon concubine once recommended a spirit augmentation master to the lower realm. He seems to be a guardian demon general. His name is Lu Daochen. If this person sincerely submitted to the Spirit King Palace, he would be bestowed with a 2nd-grade continent. Within 1,000 years, he would be able to exchange his blood several times. It shouldn't be difficult for him to break through to the life-immortal realm. If he is able to attach a true spirit treasure to him, my spirit will have a source, the gigantic beast murmured to itself. After a long time, its eyes suddenly widened in shock. When the Fu Li ancestral tablet spirituality was about to reach its limit, a name appeared on the tablet. Unfortunately, even though the name was at the end of the tablet, it had already lost its spirituality and completely shattered before it could be fully displayed. Even so, the gigantic beast's face was filled with shock. Fu Li Demon Ancestor. This clan has been extinct for countless years. Now, a new member of the clan has been born. Furthermore, the one who was born is a demon ancestor. To be able to be listed on the Fu Li clan's ancestral tablet, this person must have at least 3 drops of ancestral blood. Ancestral blood could only be used for cultivation. Anyone who could cultivate 1 drop in 1,000,000 years would be considered an outstanding talent. Only those who were bestowed blood by the ancestor shadow would be able to obtain 1 drop. Apart from that, the ancestral blood could not be snatched. The gigantic beast pondered and tried to guess the identity of the Fu Li ancestor. This person has at least 3 drops of ancestral blood. If it's a woman, it'll be useless to me. If it's a man. If I can find him and ask for his help, not only will my injuries be healed, I can even ask for his help to remove the curse of my Spirit King clan. After all, my Spirit King clan used to be the slaves of the Fu Li clan. However, this person must have cultivated for at least 3 million years to be able to cultivate 3 drops of ancestral blood. If that's the case, this person's cultivation base should be between the life immortal realm and the true immortal realm. It shouldn't be above the true immortal realm. If he has that kind of strength, it's impossible for the Fu Li clan to hide themselves given how arrogant and savage the members of the clan are. They must have already set off a storm of slaughter in the demon spirit land. This Fu Li demon ancestor must be cultivating somewhere in the demon spirit land. What the gigantic beast did not know was that her judgment was wrong. The Fu Li clan was a taboo. Other than the spirit kings themselves, no one knew about it. Because the servants did not know about the nobility of the Fu Li clan, Wu Yan did not report the appearance of the royal family of the Fu Li clan in the lower world. The gigantic beast also did not know that a royal family of the Fu Li clan had appeared in the lower world. Ning Fan had secretly awakened his blood 3 times in the Yuanyao world and was bestowed 3 drops of ancestral blood. The identity of the Fu Li ancestor was not useless. However, it was absolutely impossible to obtain benefits using this identity without the guarantee of strength. Chapter 286. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. The 3rd immemorial divine weapon was finally completed and it was imbued with 18,450 toughness spirit seals. However, other than the spirit seals, Ning Fan immediately collected all kinds of ancient formations in the Luo Yun world as soon as he left the Yuanyao world. He used up countless immortal jades and made them into formation compass of various grades. No one knew why he needed the formation compass. Even though he did not have any immortal jades to make the formation compass, he still collected thousands of formation diagrams. The 2 female corpses followed behind him. After Lu Wan came out from her seclusion, he often followed her to search for formation diagrams in the 9 divisions of the second world. With the dragon corpses pulling the carriage, the speed of the golden flame carriage was comparable to a void refinement realm cultivator. It could travel 100,000 li in a day. In 1 year, Ning Fan traveled across the 9 divisions. Occasionally, he would plunder immortal jades. In reality, there was no need to plunder immortal jades. When the golden flame carriage arrived at a certain demon city and saw that the black dragon that was pulling it was a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse, no city lord would dare to refuse to give it a gift. Just like that, while Ning Fan traveled, he collected formation diagrams and used immortal jades to make a formation compass to perfect the 3rd immemorial divine weapon. It could be said that this divine weapon was definitely the result of his greatest efforts. 5 years after the battle on the cloud platform, Ning Fan returned to the Luo Yun world on the golden flame carriage because he received a notice from Lu Daochen that the passage to the world had been cleared. Lu Wan was a little speechless. Ever since Ning Fan came out from his seclusion, she had been staying with him for more than a year, following him to every corner of the second world. However, it was too noisy along the way. In the beginning, only the female corpses disturbed them. Later on, Ning Fan simply placed all the women in his cauldron ring into the Golden Flame Palace in the Golden Flame carriage so that they could come out for some fresh air and relieve their boredom. Lu Wan knew that they were Ning Fan's human cauldrons. However, she did not know that Ning Fan's attitude towards them was actually not strict at all. As for these human cauldrons, she did not know where Ning Fan found them from. All of them were loyal to him and they even called themselves the female guards of the Ning family. To his enemies, Ning Fan was cold and merciless. To his own people, however, he was not stingy at all. The pills that he collected along the way were of high grade and high grade. He stuffed all of them into Lu Wan's pouch while giving the low-grade pills to the Harmonious Spirit Realm and Gold Core Realm human cauldrons. In addition, there were quite a number of demons and foxes who needed to break through their bottlenecks. They would beg Ning Fan for dual cultivation, excluding the time spent cultivating and crafting the formation discs. Ning Fan could only spend one night with Lu Wanner during the 10 nights. "Isn't your harem a little too big?" Lu Wan complained. "They will come in handy in the future. I have a premonition." Ning Fan smiled. The higher one's cultivation was, the deeper their comprehension of heaven's perception would be. Most of the time, the premonitions of high-level cultivators would come true. Lu Wanner did not refute him. She knew that although Ning Fan was a playboy, there were very few who could truly make him fall in love with them. She could also imagine how many killings Ning Fan had gone through in order to gather so many human cauldrons with high cultivation bases. "If I'm not around, will they be able to accompany you on my behalf?" Lu Wan sighed. She had been living with the female corpse for a long time. She knew that her importance to Ning Fan was not any less than hers. However, even though there were more than 1,000 cauldrons, none of them could truly understand Ning Fan's feelings. The female corpse's spiritual intelligence was also not high. Thus, it was difficult for her to comfort Ning Fan when he was exhausted. "You are special. Speaking of which, aren't you going to leave with me?" The passage of the world had already been opened. After entering the third world, Ning Fan would probably leave immediately. He was willing to bring Lu Wanner with him, but he did not want her to leave her hometown and be trapped in the cauldron ring day and night without any sunlight. On the other hand, if he leaves Lu Wanner here, he really could not feel at ease. He had killed too many people. He had killed too many people. Moreover, everyone in the second world knew that Lu Wanner was his woman. Would she take revenge on him? "Currently, I don't have the qualifications to travel with you. I will only become a burden. I want to stay in the demon race and practice the spiritual attachment technique. You don't have to worry about my safety. I have my elder brother, Master and Sister Wu Yan to protect me." "But Sister Wu Yan, do you really have a way to help her?" Ning Fan did not want to say much. He was worried about Lu Wanner's safety. "Let me tell you a secret. You will definitely feel relieved. Do you know why the Spirit King Palace wants to recruit my master?" Lu Wanner blinked her bright eyes. "I also find it strange that the dignified Spirit King Palace would actually fancy a mid-divine transformation realm demon general. Not only Wu Yan but also that domineering Imperial Concubine Z seems to be very afraid of your master." Imperial Concubine Z said that Master's spiritual attachment technique has caught the attention of the Spirit King. "In at most 100 years, he will send someone to bring you to the demon spirit land and grant you a second-rank starland. He also promised to do everything he can to help you attain the life immortal realm within 1,000 years. Hee. Not even the demon crown prince would dare to provoke Master's status. Life immortals in the upper world have broken free from the shackles of lifespan. Their lifespan is limitless and they are existences that even the void fragmentation realm old monsters in the lower world are afraid of. If Master breaks through to the life immortal realm, I will beg Master to help you get rid of that detestable Moksha sovereign and avenge you." Lu Wanner said seriously. Life immortal realm. Spiritual attachment technique. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He did not know why the Spirit King Palace valued Lu Daochen's spiritual attachment technique so much. However, if what Lu Wanner said was really true, it seemed like she would be far safer staying by her master's side than staying by his side. Each and every one of the enemies he provoked was far beyond his cultivation base. Perhaps one day, he would be defeated and die. As for Lu Daochen, he was a popular person who was highly valued by the Spirit King Palace. Moreover, Lu Wanner's spiritual attachment technique was also not weak. Presumably, she would be highly valued by the Spirit King Palace soon and also have the chance to become an immortal. In that case, Lu Wanner's chance to become an immortal would be buried if she stays by his side. Due to the enmity that he had formed. Once the matter of Lu Daochen being recruited is publicized, even the true spirit clan of the upper world would not dare to touch the Luoyun demon clan anymore. The Ice Owl clan would not go so far as to hurt Lu Wanner and offend Lu Daochen just for a divine transformation realm junior. Once they do that, they would seriously offend the Spirit King Palace. For example, the domineering imperial concubine Z. No one actually dared to touch such an arrogant woman. It was enough to show the prestige of the Spirit King Palace. The Spirit King Palace. Since that's the case, I have to capture Imperial Concubine Z and save Wu Yan even more. This time, I will only let Wu Yan return to the Spirit King Palace. In that case, Wu Yan does not need to be imprisoned for 10,000 years. As for Imperial Concubine Z's disappearance, I want to make it a mystery. In that case, with Lu Daochen's protection inside and Wu Yan's help outside, Wanner's safety is no longer a problem. Moreover, it is highly possible for her to break through to the life-immortal realm after hundreds or thousands of years. Ning Fan's mind raced. In the end, he did not persuade Lu Wanner to leave. She could cultivate under the protection of her elder brother and master. There was no need for her to wander around with him. It was a very happy thing to be able to live with her family. Ning Fan smiled bitterly. To him, it was an extravagant wish to be able to stay with his family. He was destined to be busy with everything. The female corpse remained silent. She often sat on the green stone outside the Golden Flame Palace and embroidered. Mu Xiaohuan, on the other hand, was munching on a small flatbread while staring at the embroidery pattern with her big, blurry eyes. The pattern was that of two butterflies. One of them longed to be ordinary while the other one was black and white. Every time he saw this scene, a hint of sadness would rise in his heart. Lu Wu, the Star Palace, the Herb Garden. I wonder if there's a way in the third world to let the female corpse recall some of her memories and regain some of her spiritual intelligence. A ray of golden light flashed across the sky of the province and headed straight to the south of Luoyun. Half a month later, the Golden Flame Chariot landed in the Luoyun region, which was connected to the Charm Division, the Taichio Plain. The Taichio Plain was a snowy plain. Rows of heavily armored demon guards who wore thick marten fur coats were stationed there. As soon as they saw the Golden Flame Chariot descending, their expressions changed drastically. All of them put down their weapons and cupped their fists to welcome the chariot. Demon General Feng Han of the Wind Cloud Division greets Northern General Luo Yun. Among the 10,000 people, there were 400 nascent soul realm demon soldiers. Their leader was an early divine transformation realm demon general. The Wind Cloud Division was the third division. If it was in the past, the demon general of the Wind Cloud Division would definitely treat the Cloud Division with a condescending tone. However, ever since the battle on the Cloud platform, Luo Yun's reputation had skyrocketed because of Ning Fan. There were even many demon clans who suggested to rearrange the ranking of the demon divisions and make revered Luo Yun the first division. However, Lu Daochen rejected them with a smile. In the past, Demon General Feng Han, who was an early divine transformation realm demon general, would never show any respect to Luo Yun division. However, standing in front of the Golden Flame Chariot today, Feng Han felt a suffocating fear. A half-step void refinement realm black dragon refined corpse. A refined corpse with such a high cultivation base was actually only responsible for pulling the chariot. With this black dragon pulling the chariot, a single collision would be enough to easily kill Feng Han. Even without Ning Fan showing himself, Feng Han was already extremely respectful towards him. The cauldron had long been kept by Ning Fan. Only Lu Wan-er was left behind him. Even the female corpse had been kept away. Ning Fan lifted the golden flame curtain and looked out of the chariot. His gaze made all the demon soldiers including Feng Han shrink their aura force. His gaze was not sharp but it carried the aura force of a superior being. Feng Han had an illusion. It was as if the person standing in front of him was not an early divine transformation realm cultivator but an old ancestor of the true spirit realm whose cultivation base was unfathomable. The first benefit that the 4 drops of ancestral blood brought to Ning Fan was that he now had a terrifying deterrence towards the demon race. Feng Han cupped his fists and lowered his head even more. He did not dare to look at Ning Fan anymore and said respectfully, "The venerated demons of the upper world and the demon lords of the 9 divisions are waiting for you at the extreme west of the Taichio Plain. The ancient formation has been set up and the sacrificial ceremony has been completed. All that's left is for you to present the map of the world to enter the third world." The extreme west, huh? Come and drive the chariot for me. Lead the way. Ning Fan's words were shocking. He actually asked Feng Han to drive the chariot for him. This was out of Lu Wan's expectation. The 10,000 demon guards of the Feng Yun division were stunned. However, they did not take Ning Fan's words as an insult. Instead, they took it as an opportunity. Each of them looked at Feng Han with envy. As for Feng Han, he was even more excited. He took a step forward and cupped his fists, agreeing to drive the chariot for Ning Fan. Yes. Feng Han's eyes were filled with passion. He had never thought that he would have the honor to sit on the golden flame chariot. The speed of the golden flame chariot that was pulled by a half-step void refinement realm black dragon was so fast that no one could see it clearly. It had almost become a legend among the 9 divisions. Even in his dreams, Feng Han wanted to experience such a fast golden flame chariot. He wanted to see how fast this chariot was that it could arrive at a demon city without anyone knowing when it would arrive or return. The Feng Yun division mainly cultivated wind. Feng Han's main cultivation was speed. However, Feng Han, who was an early divine transformation realm cultivator, had a speed that was comparable to a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator. Feng Han could imagine that if he sat on the golden flame chariot for once, it would definitely be greatly beneficial to his comprehension of speed. Not only did he feel ashamed to drive the chariot for Ning Fan, but he also took it as an honor. Lu Wan was speechless once again. Her husband actually ordered the demon generals of the enemy division as if he was ordering his subordinates. He asked them to drive the chariot just like that. What made her speechless the most was that Feng Han actually looked excited and eager to drive the golden flame chariot for Ning Fan. Ning Fan, you could tell at first glance that Feng Han wants to sit on the golden flame chariot to comprehend and cultivate, right? Lu Wan blinked her eyes. She was quick-witted. She instantly understood why Ning Fan's words were so shocking. I didn't think that much. If he refuses, I will have a reason to kill him and seize his treasures. Recently, I don't have enough immortal jade to use. Ning Fan shook his head with a smile. He did not know if what she said was true or false. If Lu Wan knew what he had done in the demon's sinister forest, she would understand how kind Ning Fan was in this place of slumber. There weren't many killings. It couldn't be helped. Each of the demon sealers was quite smart. For example, that Earth General took the initiative to offer hundreds of millions of immortal jade as an apology gift for offending him in the past. As such, no matter how vicious Ning Fan was, he would be too embarrassed to annihilate the entire Lai Tu tribe. In the far west of the snowland, a majestic formation that stretched for hundreds of thousands of li could be seen from afar. Outside the formation, countless demons stood densely. Inside the formation, countless demon beasts were hanging in the sky. Besides, there was an indistinct gigantic dark red light gate hanging in the sky. The light gate had yet to be opened. The only thing that was missing was the world map. In fact, the 9 world maps contained a trace of Lu Wu's qi. This qi was the final key to pass through the realm gate. The closer they got to the realm gate and the closer they were to their separation, the more reluctant Lu Wan'er felt. Once Ning Fan enters the realm gate, he would probably not be able to return to the Luoyun continent in a short period of time. Ning Fan. Lu Wan'er really wanted Ning Fan to stay in the Luoyun continent and accompany her for the rest of her life. However, she knew that Ning Fan still had too many things that he had to do. I will be back. Ning Fan stroked the side of Lu Wan'er's face and smiled gently. The golden light that pierced through the sky flashed and eventually turned into a golden chariot, descending upon the snowland. At the moment when the chariot arrived, all the demons' faces were filled with fear. Look! It's really a half-step void refinement realm black dragon pulling the chariot. The rumors are true. We can't afford to offend this General Bey. That's right. A half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. Just one refined corpse is enough to destroy any tribe. Liu Bei has a refined corpse and the Luoyun continent has Liu Bei. We must never offend the Luoyun continent. Each of the demons held their breaths and concentrated. Many of them noticed that the one driving the golden flame chariot was actually Feng Han, the demon general of the Fengyun tribe. General Feng revealed a bitter smile. With the reputation of General Bey of the Luoyun continent, it was more than enough for ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators to pull his chariot. Unfortunately, it was his good-for-nothing demon general who pulled his chariot. He could only smile awkwardly. Wu Yan's eyes flashed with a hint of envy. When she saw Ning Fan and Lu Wan'er walking out of the golden flame chariot side by side, the envy in her eyes grew even stronger. Is there a person who can accompany me to drive the golden chariot to the ends of the world? Is there a person who can kill 6 divine transformation realm experts in a row on the cloud platform for me? He said that he will help me. Will he keep his promise? Concubine Z's phoenix eyes turned grim. Seeing a half-step void refinement realm black dragon refined corpse with her own eyes really made it difficult for her to remain calm. This young man actually has a refined corpse of such a high grade. Damn it. In this case, I won't be able to touch him easily in the third world. Crown Prince Chu Shun's eyes sparkled. If the people of the demon world saw this, they would certainly be surprised to find out that this demon crown prince was actually showing such raging battle intent towards someone. This Liu Bei will be a formidable opponent in my path of Dao seeking. He is not an ant. Chu Shun's ability to conceal his strength was not any weaker than Ning Fan's. Moreover, if he uses all of his hidden techniques, he would have a 70% chance of winning against Ning Fan in a life-and-death battle. After all, he was a peak divine transformation realm expert. Moreover, he was an elite genius among those at the peak of the divine transformation realm. The most ruthless thing he had ever done was to severely injure a half-step void refinement realm old monster. The current Chu Shun's hostility towards Ning Fan was reduced. He now regarded the latter as a formidable opponent. A formidable opponent was someone whom he must surpass openly. Chu Shun would not use any tricks to fight against such a person. It's a pity that you have just reached the early divine transformation realm and your main cultivation is only at the half-step divine transformation realm. The current you is still unable to kill this prince. This prince will give you enough time to grow. One day, when you have reached the same realm as this prince will fight you fair and square. Chu Shun's arrogant expression vanished and was replaced with an extremely domineering gaze. His lips moved but no sound came out. At this moment, the divine transformation realm experts of the demon world behind Chu Shun became serious. They had received Crown Prince Chu Shun's order through telepathy. Fighting for the star of the Heavenly Emperor is an important matter. However, if you can avoid harming Liu Bei's life, don't hurt him. I have a premonition that I will meet this young man again in the future. At that time, it might be the clash between the demon world and the rain world. I will leave this young man alive until that time to defeat him. I will suppress him with absolute strength and use his defeat to increase my confidence in winning. He is qualified to be this prince's strongest opponent on the road to the 9 worlds. Mastering Evil. Chapter 287. Ning Fan kept the golden flame chariot and the dragon corpse. Then, he walked side by side with Lu Wanner. Facing the gazes of the group of demons, he remained calm and composed. Seeing Ning Fan's arrival, all the demon lords rushed forward and cupped their fists. Their eyes were filled with respect. If Ning Fan's wind-mist finger that killed Wang Xiao was already enough to make all the severed demon realm experts wary, then this half-step void refinement realm dragon corpse made them shudder in fear. The earth generals of the Lai Tu tribe were especially enthusiastic. Due to the fact that he had placed a bounty on Luo Yun's head and attempted to assassinate Ning Fan, he naturally spared no effort to please Ning Fan in order to protect himself. He even ceded tens of millions of li of land to the north of the boundless plain to Luo Yun. As such, Ning Fan did not want to kill this person. Haha, General Bei is finally here. We have been waiting for you for a long time. I heard that General Bei is traveling around the 9 divisions in search of ancient formations. I wonder what they are used for. If you have any orders, I can help you collect some. The 9 demon sealers welcomed him at the same time, giving Ning Fan enough face. Ning Fan cupped his fists in return and shook his head indifferently towards the earth generals fawning over him. It's fine. I've already gathered most of the formation diagrams that should be gathered, so there's no need for General Earth to trouble yourself. As for the use of the formation diagram, he laughed it off and did not expose it. The Earth General was tactful and did not ask any further. Ning Fan's gaze swept across Lu Daochen and Lu Jifen. The former was smiling meaningfully at him, while the latter, after exchanging greetings, immediately turned around and returned to the ranks of the Cleansing Flame tribe. Ning Fan flashed a friendly smile at the former, but his eyes turned solemn when he looked at the latter. Ning Fan naturally knew what Lu Daochen was hinting at. Lu Daochen hoped that Ning Fan would keep his promise and save Demon Marshal Lu Wu in the Third World. What caught Ning Fan's attention was Lu Jifen. The aura of this person today gave Ning Fan a strange feeling. In the past, Lu Jifen was at the late stage of the deity transformation realm. Relying on the power of the bestowment star, it was difficult for him to meet a worthy opponent in the late stage. However, he was still weaker than Wang Xiao, so there was nothing to worry about. As for the current Lu Jifen, there was an extremely obscure aura on his body. This qi actually gave Ning Fan a sense of danger. That qi was very familiar. Ning Fan had sensed it a few times from Chu He, Ying He, and the other experts of the Demon Sealing Sect. The unique aura of the members of the Demon Sealing Sect. This Lu Jifen is indeed closely related to the Demon Sealing Hall. Today, he seems to have used some kind of secret technique to increase his strength. It seems like the Purifying Flame Tribe and the Demon Sealing Hall have planned a lot for the Star of the Celestial Emperor. Thoughts flashed across Ning Fan's mind, but his facial expression remained unchanged. The Broken Realm's secret realm was first discovered by the giant demon clan, but the Demon Sealing Sect sent a secret report to the upper realm. Only then did the Demon Spirit Land know about it, and the Demon Clan was sent down to open the path to the lower realm. Demon Sealing Hall. The 2 words Demon Sealing seem to be hinting at something. The Demon Sealing Palace and the Pure Fire Division. Ning Fan had no idea what the 2 of them were planning. However, he was not afraid of the Demon Sealing Palace playing any tricks with his many trump cards. Lu Jifen. No matter what, I must obtain the Third Realm Star of the Heavenly Emperor. Ning Fan shifted his gaze away and followed Lu Daochen into the Luo Yun group. Although Lu Daochen was smiling, there was a rare hint of seriousness on his face. I'll leave General Lu to you. Lu Daochen transmitted. Then, he patted his storage pouch and took out a silver jade box that was covered with dust. Ning Fan scanned it with his spirit sense. Immediately, his eyes turned cold and he kept the jade box. Inside the box, there was an ancient silver key that was tightly sealed. He deduced that this item was the key to the Star Palace. This item was the key to subduing the Imperial Star. It was even more important than the map of the world. Lu Daochen naturally would not give it to Ning Fan without waiting for the opening of the world passage. Now, however, the only thing Lu Daochen could do was to trust Ning Fan. He entrusted this item to Ning Fan and hoped that Ning Fan would keep his promise. "Don't worry." Ning Fan's reply was just 2 words, but it was loud and clear. Ning Fan's character was cunning and cunning. However, if the other party did not disappoint him, he would not break his promise. Lu Daochen nodded his head in satisfaction. Then, he raised his head and looked at the illusory blood door in the sky. The world passage is about to open. When this blood door completely solidifies, you will combine the 9 diagrams into one and draw out General Lu's qi to open this door. You should know the map of the Star Palace. I'll leave everything to you. As Ning Fan arrived, the sacrificial ceremony began. On the formation map that was inscribed in advance, hundreds of thousands of demon beasts were sacrificed. As they screamed, they turned into bloodlight and fused into the giant door. Nearly 100 priests from various tribes bowed and kowtowed to the giant statue of a 6-legged golden beast at the center of the formation. At the same time, they chanted ancient scriptures. Nearly 10,000 ancient demon sacrificial tools were placed at the formation's eyes. As the formation was activated, all of them lit up with white light. A vast aura force spread out from the 6-legged golden statue, spreading across hundreds of thousands of li. Under this aura force, each of the nascent soul realm experts found it hard to maintain their composure. Only by bowing and kowtowing could they dispel the aura force. As for the divine transformation realm demon generals, they could not remain calm in the face of this aura force. However, when this aura force reached the Luoyun tribe, Ning Fan took a step forward. The purple star flashed and he clenched his 5 fingers, crushing the aura force and protecting Lu Wan from being invaded by it. This scene attracted the attention of many experts of the demon race. However, before they could ask anything, a heavy rumbling sound suddenly resounded in the sky. At this moment, the giant blood-red door solidified and a crack appeared on it. The reason why it was not fully opened was because the world map was missing. Ning Fan knew that it was time for him to act. Once the world passage is opened, it would be difficult for him to return to the third world. He did not know when would be the next time he would be able to meet Lu Wan again. Go. This time, only Master, Elder Brother and General Lu Ao of the Luoyun tribe will enter the third world. The other generals will stay in the Luoyun tribe. You don't have to worry about my safety. Although Lu Wan was smiling, her eyes were filled with deep reluctance. She knew that the moment Ning Fan steps into the third world would be the time for them to part. She tried her best not to cry. However, her shoulders were trembling. Hurry up and go. Do you really want to see me cry? If all the grudges are settled, I will return. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with determination. With a single step, he turned into purple smoke and soared into the sky. Standing in front of the giant door, he patted his storage pouch and took out the 9 world maps. His eyes flashed with determination. The 9 incomplete maps were originally broken. However, as Ning Fan exerted his palm force, the cracks on the 9 maps actually showed signs of merging into one. As the 9 maps merged into one, a ray of golden light shot out from the incomplete maps and entered the giant door. Within that golden light, there was a vigorous aura force. Even though it was not as strong as the 6-legged golden statue, it had already reached the void refinement realm. At the moment when the golden light emerged, a golden mark appeared on the foreheads of the 9 severed demons at the same time. Then, it flashed and disappeared. General Lu. Lu Daochen's old eyes became a little blurry. His voice was filled with excitement. This qi belonged to his former master, Lu Wu. As for the other severed demons, their expressions were filled with reminiscence, sighing and other different expressions. Only Lu Jiefen's eyes revealed a hint of greed. If I can obtain the star of the Heavenly Emperor, the part of my pure flame body will certainly break through to the half-step void refinement realm. Once my clone merges with my true body in the outside world, I will be able to advance to the void refinement realm. I will dominate the internal sea and the 9 divisions will also be invincible. The golden mark on Zhu Jiefen's forehead flashed and disappeared. At the next moment, the giant door opened. Behind the giant door was a boundless void space. In the void space, rays of starlight paved a path. The end of the path was connected to the void space. Above the void space, there was a vast maze formed by the starlight. What is that? Each of the demons took a glance and saw the scene on the other side of the giant door. Their expressions changed drastically. Isn't the third world supposed to be the world where the demon marshal is in slumber? Isn't it supposed to be made up of the wild continent and the giant sleeping egg? The sleeping egg was a method used by the experts of the demon race to seal themselves in the egg. They couldn't cultivate and could only sleep. However, it had a heaven-defying effect that could almost erase the passage of time. Moreover, there were many ancient demons who sealed themselves in the egg. Even after countless years, they still retained their original bone age. Logically speaking, Demon Marshal Lu Wu should be sleeping in the demon egg, shouldn't he? However, there were no demon eggs in the third world. There was only an endless void space and a maze of starlight. Why was that? Even Chu Shan, Imperial Concubine Z, Lu Jiefen and the others were astonished. They were puzzled but they did not explain anything. Behind Ning Fan, there were already 49 rays of light soaring into the sky, heading straight for the third world. Only Ning Fan and Lu Daochen were not surprised because they knew the truth. Ning Fan turned around and gave Lu Wan a glance. Then, he clenched his fists and turned around, stepping into the path of stars. The moment he stepped into the path of stars, he seemed to be guided by the starlight and entered a certain place in the Star Palace. The remaining 49 people stepped into the path of stars one after another and spread out. When the number of people who entered the palace reached 50, the giant door slowly closed. I won't be able to see it anymore. Lu Wan could no longer hold back her smile. She gently turned around to hide her tears. I will work hard in my cultivation to improve my spirit augmentation technique and obtain the recognition of the Spirit King Palace. Then, I will obtain the chance to become an immortal just like my master. When that time comes, I will protect you and not let you wander around the world without anyone to rely on anymore. Ning Fan, I will wait for you. You must be safe. The starlight flashed past his eyes. Even if he used the Fu Li eye to peek at it, he could not see the scenery behind it. The speed of the starlight was too fast. It could travel at least 600,000 li. This speed was 6 times faster than the current speed of the Golden Flame Chariot. The Golden Flame Chariot had already traveled 100,000 li. The speed of the starlight was probably comparable to that of a half-step void fragmentation realm expert. After being devoured by the starlight, the teleportation lasted for 10 days. 10 days later, the starlight disappeared with a flash. Ning Fan glanced around and found that he had already appeared in a palace that was glowing with silver light. The surrounding grass and trees were also silver in color. Ning Fan placed his palm on the wall of the palace. Immediately, a strong rebounding force came from the wall, causing his chi to be greatly disrupted. He took tens of steps back and his eyes narrowed. There was an extremely strong force on the wall that forbade anyone from touching it or passing through it. That force was starlight. This place is the Star Palace. The path to the Star Palace was complicated and full of unpredictable dangers. However, Lu Daochen had once given Ning Fan a map of the Star Palace. Even though it was a rough map which was not accurate, the markings on it allowed Ning Fan to instantly understand where he was now. Is this one of the 6 courtyards of the human palace? Ning Fan took out the jade slip that Lu Daochen gave him again and pressed it on his glabella. After identifying the map, he muttered to himself. The Star Palace was a massive maze. According to Lu Daochen's division, it was divided into 3 areas from the outside to the inside: the Heaven Palace, the Earth Palace and the Human Palace. The Human Palace was located at the outermost layer. There were 6 mazes in 6 directions which were called the 6 courtyards by Lu Daochen. The Human Palace was located at the outermost layer. After passing through the 6 courtyards of the Human Palace, one would arrive at the 3 palaces of the Earth Palace. At the end of the 3 palaces was the Heaven Palace. However, the structure of the Heaven Palace was extremely similar to the Heavenly Emperor's medicinal garden that Ning Fan saw in his reincarnation. As for the place where Lu Shuai's remnant soul was trapped according to the red dot, it was in the Heaven Palace. Ning Fan kept the jade slip and muttered to himself. I wonder where the others have been teleported to by the starlight. He scanned the area with his spirit sense. Just one of the 6 courtyards of the Human Palace at the outermost layer was already millions of li in size. What was more troublesome was that the paths in this place were extremely complicated. There were also a lot of traps. With these traps, ordinary experts would not be able to fly at full speed at all. Moreover, they would have to be extremely careful with every step they take. There was no one else within 10,000 li. Even though there were no signs of humans, Ning Fan found quite a number of 1,000-year-old spiritual herbs in the maze. The oldest of the spiritual herbs had even reached 10,000 years of age, which could be used to concoct 5th revolution pills. Spiritual herbs could not be endlessly aged just by nurturing them carefully. The maximum age a tuft of spiritual herb could reach depended on its species, density of spiritual qi, spiritual soil and spiritual spring water and many other factors. Beside these spiritual herbs that were still growing, there was usually a thick layer of dust. All of them were spiritual herbs that were millions of years old. When they had reached the limit of their medicinal age, they eventually withered and turned into ashes because the spiritual qi in this place could not reach the required level. If I encounter these spiritual herbs, I don't have to miss them. The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye flashed. His perception power increased and he summoned the Fuli demon wings. His speed was comparable to that of a peak divine transformation realm expert. As soon as he took a step forward, he immediately turned into a trace of purple smoke and drifted 10,000 li away. Such an unscrupulous flight naturally triggered many traps. Rays of starlight arrows shot out from the hidden holes. With the perceptive power of the Fuli eye, Ning Fan could easily avoid the attacks of the traps by bending his body. It was not difficult to avoid the traps. However, Ning Fan's heart was not calm. In just one move, a sense of alarm rose in his heart. Countless rays of starlight shot out from the surrounding walls of the palace. Each of them carried a great demonic intent. It was as if the starry sky was descending, making Ning Fan feel suffocated. An irresistible ray of starlight wrapped around Ning Fan's physical body, as if it was imprisoning him. The starlight flashed and he was teleported back. In an instant, Ning Fan was actually teleported back to the starting point. Flight restriction. Ning Fan's expression changed. Many mazes and ruins had similar restrictions. Once a cultivator tries to fly, he or she would be forcefully teleported back. The starlight in this place clearly contained a trace of domineering demonic intent. This demonic intent conveyed the intent of the flight restriction, forbidding anyone from flying in this place. Ning Fan had never expected that there would be such a restriction in this star palace. If that's the case, does that mean I have to walk through this boundless star palace with my own 2 feet? He tried to flap his wings again. However, the starlight that contained the demonic intent immediately pressed down on him. Under its suppression, Ning Fan was actually unable to fly even a little bit. His eyes became unprecedentedly solemn. This star palace has been set up by someone with a demonic intent that forbids me from flying. However, I don't know if this demonic intent can be neutralized by the power of an intent realm of the same level. Ning Fan remained silent. He kept his fuli wings and moved forward at a slow pace. However, his body was gradually enveloped by a trace of moist qi. Inside the palace, it suddenly started raining in a small area without any warning. The divine intent of rain. When the divine intent of rain fell on his body, Ning Fan clearly felt that the power of the flight restriction had weakened significantly. When he summoned the mountain devil intent and the fuli demon intent, the power of the flight restriction was no longer as obvious. Moreover, the current Ning Fan could barely fly at half of his original speed. However, it was still far from enough for him to completely neutralize the power of the flight restriction with his current intent realm. Even so, Ning Fan was sure of one thing: his divine intent could neutralize the demonic intent of the Star Palace. In that case, as long as his divine intent is strong enough, he would be able to suppress the demonic intent and fly in this Star Palace again. Besides, he also noticed that the divine intent of rain which was being suppressed by the demonic intent of the Star Palace was transforming and improving at a rapid speed. Interesting. Under the suppression of the demonic intent of this Star Palace, my divine intent of rain is actually improving. Condensing the divine intent was just the first step. After comprehending the initial stage of the divine intent, a divine transformation realm cultivator would fuse the divine intent into their magic techniques to greatly increase the destructive power of their magic techniques. After condensing the divine intent, the cultivator would still need to cultivate the divine intent to minor accomplishment, grand accomplishment and perfection realm. Finally, the divine intent would enter the body and merge with the void and spirit. Divine transformation realm cultivators no longer needed to improve their magic power to break through to the next realm. Many early divine transformation realm cultivators could not comprehend the divine intent in their entire lives. That was why they could not break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. In order to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm, not only would one need sufficient magic power, one would also need to attain at least minor accomplishment in the divine intent. In order to break through to the void refinement realm, one would need to attain grand accomplishment in the divine intent of rain at least in order to comprehend the bottleneck. Ning Fan's divine intent of rain was just at the initial stage. He had never deliberately cultivated it before. Today, however, under the suppression of the Star Palace's demonic intent, his divine intent of rain seemed to be compressed and refined. It actually seemed to be driven to a higher level and was slowly approaching the minor accomplishment realm. This was a rare opportunity because the Star Palace was actually fused with the demonic intent of the Heaven Sovereign. Even though the demonic intent was broken, its aura force was still there. If Ning Fan could use the suppression as an opportunity to temper his divine intent, it would be a great opportunity for him to cultivate. Lu Daochen once said that if I obtain the star of the Heaven Sovereign, should be able to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. Therefore, in order to successfully break through to the mid-divine transformation realm, I need to take this opportunity to cultivate my divine intent. The key of the Star Palace is in my hands. Other than me, no one else can obtain the inheritance of the Emperor Star. In this case, I don't need to hurry on with my journey. This is a great opportunity to use the Star Palace's demonic intent to temper my own intent realm. Divine Transformation Realm experts appeared one after another in every corner of the 6 courtyards of the human palace. When they saw the maze and the traps, their faces turned solemn. Most of them entered the third world to awaken the demon marshal or snatch the star of the Heaven Sovereign from the demon marshal. However, what they did not expect was that what appeared in front of them was a maze made of starlight. What was even stranger was that each of the palaces was equipped with a demonic intent that forbade flying. Fortunately, after summoning their demonic intent, most of them could fly at least 1/10 of their speed. Concubine Z's phoenix-like eyes looked gloomy outside a certain dilapidated palace wall of the 6 courtyards of the human palace. She had never expected that the third world would be like this. Damn it! Why did the place where Lu Nye was sleeping become like this? If that's the case, I don't know if I can still find enough ashes of the Emperor herbs in this place. If I can't complete the mission given by the Spirit King, I will definitely die. Concubine Z slowly took out a purple compass and sneered. My purple cuckoo demonic intent has already reached the minor completion stage. I can at least fly at half of my speed here. Humph, let's find the other demon concubines first. As for the spiritual herbs in this place, they might not be able to satisfy the Spirit King since they are growing here. It's better to collect some. At the end of a certain deathly silent palace in the 6 courtyards stood a giant door that shone with silver light. An early demon general was carefully walking alone. As he pushed the giant door open, he sighed inwardly. I didn't expect the third world to be a maze. I also didn't expect this place to forbid flying. Fortunately, the place where I was teleported to seems to be closer to the center. Behind this door should be the central region. If I can find the sleeping demon Marshal Lu Wu and obtain the Star of the Heaven Sovereign before anyone else, even I will be qualified to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. If I can break through to the mid-divine transformation realm, I will definitely be the strongest in the New River tribe apart from the demon sealing realm. This demon general was a member of the New River tribe of the 5th division. Coincidentally, he was teleported to the intersection between the human hall and the earth hall. After pushing the heavy giant door open, he took a step inside. In the dim palace, there were several silver figures that were in deep sleep but were awakened by this person. Intruders of the Star Palace, die. Several silver figures uttered a shaky voice at the same time. At this moment, the New River tribe's demon general's expression changed drastically. Divine Transformation Realm puppets. Why are there so many of them? Ah! After a miserable shriek, the giant door closed. Inside the Heaven Hall, the 9 demon sealing realm experts all had different expressions. They were teleported to this place by the starlight almost at the same time. After all, they were old monsters that had cultivated for many years. After the unforeseen event, they immediately calmed down and began to think about the current situation. On the other hand, Lu Daochun's expression changed. If he was not mistaken, this place should be the Heaven Hall that he had marked. Heaven Hall. According to my calculations, those who enter the Star Palace should be teleported to the Human Hall. Why are we 9 demon sealing realm experts directly teleported to the Heaven Hall? Roar! A heavy bestial roar came through the giant sealed door of the Heaven Hall. However, a pressure that made Lu Daochun shiver came out and all his thoughts were interrupted. That pressure brought along a black gale. When it blew, the 9 demon sealing realm experts were caught off guard. They lost their footing and flew backward. If it wasn't for the giant sealed door, this bestial roar would have injured the 9 demon sealing realm experts severely. It's master. No, that's not right. This is. Lu Daochun's expression changed drastically. There's no mistake. Lu Wu's remnant soul should be sealed in the Heaven Hall token. What exactly is hidden in this palace? Lu Daochun. What are you hiding from us? Why did General Lu's sleeping place become like this? Could it be that the person imprisoned in this palace is General Lu? Lu Jiefen's eyes became unfriendly, but there was also fear in the unfriendliness. Could it be that the sleeping demon commander Lu Wu had awakened? But if he had awakened, why is the death qi in this palace so heavy? Could it be, General Lu is dead? An. Lu Jiefen's expression changed drastically. Chapter 288. The walls of the human palace were illuminated with starlight. Every brick and tile was as clear as glass. The palace was arranged in a complicated way and was built according to a strange formation. Once an ordinary spirit-severing realm cultivator gets lost, he or she might go back and forth countless times in a palace without being able to find the right way out. Outside a certain palace, heavy footsteps could be heard from afar. The footsteps were not fast, and each step seemed to be taken after careful consideration. However, wherever the footsteps passed, it would definitely cause a drizzle. It was obviously a drizzle, but when it fell on the spiritual herbs, it would immediately turn into misty sword light, cutting the spiritual herbs into pieces. The owner of the footsteps gently kept the spiritual herbs into his storage pouch. In the past 1 month, he had only walked a few thousand li. However, the enlightenment he gained during this 1 month had made his divine intent of rain change into misty rain. Ning Fan did not speak. He lifted his finger and pointed. The raindrops immediately turned into misty rain mist. It was hard to see and touch it. As his eyes focused, his aura suddenly changed. Billions of raindrops collapsed and dissipated. However, there were 999 dark red raindrops that did not dissipate. Ning Fan opened his mouth and inhaled. 999 raindrops were directly sucked into his mouth. Then, he smiled. In order to improve my intent realm, I must first determine the direction of cultivation. The divine intent of rain cultivates the quantity of rainwater. I have condensed 999 drops of natal divine rain, using my divine intent of rain. If I can condense the 1000th drop, I'm afraid my divine intent of rain will break through to the minor completion realm. Condense. Ning Fan made a grabbing motion with his hand. Countless misty divine intent of rain rose in the surroundings and fell down like raindrops. When each raindrop fell to the ground, it gradually turned into mist. Ning Fan then extracted a trace of mist and condensed it on his palm. 1 day later, the traces of mist condensed into a dark red raindrop on his palm. This drop of red rain was enough to kill an early nascent soul realm cultivator. As he swallowed the raindrop, a condensed divine intent of rain rose from his body. The dark red blood rain poured down and turned into misty rain mist. Minor completion rain intent. If it wasn't for this special place like the Star Palace, I'm afraid it would be extremely difficult to achieve minor completion rain intent. I wonder how much more powerful it would be if I merged the minor completion rain intent into my magic technique. Ning Fan casually casted the ice rain technique. This was merely a spirit realm technique and he had long abandoned it. He was merely testing how much the power of the ice rain technique had increased. However, as soon as he gave it a try, his expression changed. 1,000 drops of crimson icy rain flew towards him. The icy rain technique that was infused with the minor accomplishment divine intent had the power to kill an early nascent soul realm expert. Perhaps even an early divine transformation realm expert would be severely injured. The initial success divine decree was indeed extraordinary to be able to injure a soul formation cultivator with a spirit-level dharma spell. If there were 10,000 drops of this rain, wouldn't he be invincible below the void refinement realm? After the rain intent reached small success, the suppression of the Star Palace's demonic intent had weakened. It would be difficult to cultivate the rain intent through the suppression of the demonic intent. After withdrawing the rain intent and dispersing the falling rain, Ning Fan closed his eyes. When he opened them again, his entire body was shrouded in dense devil chi. Every step he took would cause countless shadows of black dust to rise. The rain intent has reached minor accomplishment. It's really a pity that it's hard to improve it further. However, I can use this opportunity to improve my devil intent. The 6th grade devil intent is the intent realm of Devil Luo Mountain. It's far from enough to just create dust with every step. 10 days later, the flying dust turned into fist-sized pieces of earth and stone. Half a month later, every time Ning Fan took a step forward, a shadow of a black rock would rise from the ground beside him. A month later, the shadow of a black short mountain would appear wherever he went. In the beginning, the short mountain was only 10 zhang tall. However, as the devil chi condensed day by day, the short mountain grew taller and taller. Eventually, it became a 999 zhang tall mountain. Ning Fan no longer walked and stood still. With a thought in his mind, a black devil mountain rose from the ground beneath his feet. It was 999 zhang tall and was filled with ferocious qi. The mountain devil intent cultivates the height of the mountain. I condense the mountain with my devil intent. In 1 month, the natal devil mountain will reach the height of 999 zhang. After reaching the height of 1000 zhang, the devil intent of this mountain will reach small success. Standing on the peak of the mountain, Ning Fan forced out traces of devil qi from his body and condensed them into the short mountain beneath his feet. Inch by inch, the short mountain gradually grew taller. When it reached the height of 1000 zhang, Ning Fan's eyes widened. Devil qi spread across his body, dispersing the shadow of the mountain. He landed on the ground and raised his palm to the sky. The devil qi in his palm moved and immediately, 1000 zhang tall devil mountain appeared in his palm. Fall. The force of the falling mountain was more than terrifying. When it fell to the ground, the star palace within the radius of hundreds of thousands of li trembled violently. Ning Fan's eyes lit up. If this natal devil mountain is 10,000 zhang tall, I can kill a half-step void refinement realm expert with the force of a single fall. Unfortunately, after the devil intent reached small success, it would be difficult for him to improve it with the help of the Star Palace's demon intent. After dispersing the devil intent in the devil mountain, Ning Fan hesitated for a moment. Then, he took a step forward. His purple wings spread out and his long hair turned dark purple. 2 horns grew on his head and purplish-black scales grew on his body. That was his Fu Li demon appearance. Demon intent is determined by the demon blood. The Fu Li clan has been exterminated, but I don't know what grade this Fu Li demon intent is at. However, I suppose it is not weaker than the blood of dragons and phoenixes. The cultivation of demon intent is to cultivate the demon appearance. Ning Fan smiled bitterly when he recalled how Li Ban and the others displayed their 1000 zhang demon appearances. Apparently, Li Ban had already achieved small success in his demon intent. If it wasn't for his intervention, he would certainly have broken through to the mid-divine transformation realm. There's nothing wrong with cultivating the demon appearance. However, if my Fu Li demon appearance increases its strength by increasing the size of its body, it seems to be going against the path of my body refinement. The strength of a gigantified physical body is indeed astonishing. However, a condensed and tempered physical body would condense all of its strength into a single point. Thus, my Fu Li demon appearance doesn't have to determine its strength based on its size. Where should I start to improve it? Ning Fan's eyes gradually brightened as he recalled the characteristics of Fu Li, demon wings. That's right. Instead of increasing its strength, why don't I increase its speed? Then, I'll condense the natal demon wings for this pair of demon wings. That would be the best. In 1 month's time, Ning Fan wanted to condense the Fu Li demon intent into 1000 black feathers and add them to his wings. His cultivation base did not improve, but his abilities were evolving. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye in the Star Palace. Within 3 months, demon generals had broken through the human palace and entered the Earth Palace. Naturally, the danger that was hidden at the end of the human palace also gradually surfaced. Inside a certain giant door, 2 demon generals were fighting against 4 silvery beast shadows. Each of the 4 silvery beast shadows was more than 1000 zhang long. If one takes a closer look, each of them had 4 horns on their heads. They had a single eye and fangs which made them look like hungry wolves. Each of them had the aura force of an early divine transformation realm expert. Wild beasts. The 4 wild beasts had been sleeping for countless years. However, as soon as the giant door was opened, they immediately woke up. Intruders of the Star Palace shall die. However, under the attacks of the 4 wild beasts, the 2 demon generals were not in a hurry at all. The white-robed demon general had a jade-like complexion. His body flashed and immediately transformed into his demon form. He turned into a 1000 zhang large 5-tailed lightning fox. Even though he was fighting against two beasts at the same time, he did not seem to be at a disadvantage. The demon fox opened its mouth and roared. Thunder rumbled. Under the power of the fox's lightning, the two silver beasts were gradually losing. The demon fox became calmer and laughed heartily. So this place is the Star Palace. Interesting. Why did General Lu's sleeping place turn into a Star Palace? I really want to know. According to the compass, Lord Cloud General has already appeared in the depths of the Star Palace. I wonder if he has found General Lu. As for Liu Bei, could it be that he has met with some trouble? According to the compass, he seems to be very far behind us. Hee. It seems like my brother-in-law can't make it in time to hunt these 4 wild beasts. What a pity. If he was here, I'm afraid he would have killed these 4 wild beasts with a single slash. This demon fox was actually Lu Wan's brother, Lu Sheng. The red-armored demon general next to him was even more ferocious. He did not even transform into his demon form. Instead, he used his Jade Life Realm physical body to fight against the wild beasts. The magic power of this man was close to the mid-divine transformation realm. His body refining technique had just broken through to the 2nd level of Jade Life Realm not too long ago. The strength of his punch was equivalent to a mid-divine transformation realm attack. The wild beasts were no match for him. Every time he threw out a punch that sent 1,000 zhang silver beast flying, the red-armored burly man would burst into laughter. As for the 2 wild beasts that were confronting him, their injuries became more and more severe. How dare a mere wild beast block my path? You're courting death. Boom! Another punch landed on the top of the head of a huge beast. It went along the skull and shattered all the bones in its body. Its 1,000 zhang huge body fell limply on the ground like a pile of mud. It let out a furious roar. The red-armored burly man did not say anything. He stomped his foot and turned the huge beast's 1,000 zhang body into a pile of blood. Immediately after that, his eyes turned cold. He looked at the remaining wild beast and performed a hand seal. Immediately, 1,000 zhang. Huge flaming crab pincer appeared in the middle of the palace. With a ruthless scissor, the pincer of the wild beast was cut into 2 pieces. After that, the red-armored burly man took out 2 silver demon cores from the pile of flesh and blood. Then, he burst into laughter. Although he had consumed a huge amount of his physical strength and demon power and even suffered some serious injuries, his eyes were still burning with battle intent. Brother Lu Sheng, your Thunder Fox's 9 transformations technique is quite powerful in defense. However, its offense seems to be a little weak. I have already killed 2 beasts in a row. How can I be compared to you? The demon fox smiled bitterly. However, his demon eyes turned serious. With a flash of his shadow, countless thunderbolts were produced from his body and turned into 8 Thunder Fox. Each of them had the aura force of a pseudo-wild beast. 8 illusions and 1 real one. The 9-headed demon fox launched a fatal attack on the 2 wild beasts. Very soon, life and death were decided. 6 of the 8 illusions were destroyed. However, the 2 wild beasts were bitten to death by the demon fox. It's done. The demon fox kept the illusions and dispersed his demon form. He turned into a white-robed young man. He was holding 2 bloody demon cores in his hands. However, his expression was calm. Although his face was pale and he had consumed a lot of his demon power, he was still quite happy. After all, he and Lu Ao could be considered to have obtained 2 wild beast demon cores. It's a pity that Liu Bei didn't make it in time for this opportunity. Forget it. I have 2 demon cores. I'll give one to him. We'll stay here to recuperate and wait for Liu Bei to come. Then, we'll enter the next palace hall together. Lu Xing kept the demon core and smiled. Just as he was about to sit cross-legged and meditate, his smile froze on his face. At this moment, the entrance of another giant door was opened. 3 gloomy figures walked out slowly with cold smiles on their faces. 2 early divine transformation realm cultivators have killed 4 wild beasts. I have to say that the 2 of you are very powerful. However, no matter how powerful you are, you're just ants in the lower world. Hand over the 4 demon cores and I'll leave your corpses intact. 2 figures walked out. They were 2 black-armored demon generals. Both of them were at the mid-divine transformation realm. Lu Xing recognized them at first glance. They were the last 2 divine transformation realm cultivators brought by Wang Xiao. Immediately, Lu Xing's face turned cold. You're the demon generals of the upper world. How dare you kill people and seize their treasures? Lu Xing said coldly. So what if I kill people and seize their treasures? I'm afraid of Liu Bei, but I'm not afraid of you ordinary demon generals from the lower world. Puppet, appear. Following the order of the black-armored demon general who was slightly taller, a 3rd figure walked out slowly from behind the 2 generals. Judging from its aura, it was a late divine transformation realm mechanical puppet. Lu Ao's eyes darkened. He was afraid that he was going to die today. Lu Xing, quickly retreat from this door. The compass shows that Liu Bei is behind this door. I'll help you deal with them. Ridiculous. I, Lu Xing, am a demon general who has fought thousands of battles. As a general of Luo Yun, how could I abandon my comrades? Burning blood. Lu Xing had ignited his demon blood in the first encounter. He knew that if he did not fight to the death today, he would definitely die facing 2 mid-divine transformation realm and a late divine transformation realm puppet. Demon form, appear. Lu Xing's body swayed and turned into a lightning fox that was thousands of feet tall. However, this fox's body was burning with a bloody light. Oh. Interesting. You're just an ant from the lower world, but you've achieved initial demon will and your demon form is thousands of feet tall. If you consume enough wild beasts' demon cores, it won't take you long to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. Unfortunately, you won't have the chance. Puppet, kill. Like a black storm, the black puppet punched at the demon fox. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.